Hey, everybody. It's Sunday night on a Memorial long weekend, and um, we're doing the bullpen. Sorry it didn't show up. It was, for whatever reason, YouTube kept making the stream private,
Oh,
even though I
wow.
had set it to public multiple times. So if anybody was looking for it earlier to make sure that we were doing a show, I don't know what was going on there. Um, but we've got some fun topics tonight. Chad's going to take a victory lap. I think the whole show's kind of taken a victory lap on the predictions that we made. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Also, want to make sure everybody remembers the reason why we get tomorrow off. Um, so we're going to go over the Massey election. We'll probably go over Cornyn's. Talk a little bit about Hassan is in trouble, and then a little bit on Iran and the deal. So that's what's coming up.
So did Hassan shock his dog again?
No, Hassan has been subpoenaed by the DOJ.
Oh, wow.
We can start there, I guess.
What a twist.
So, yeah, Hassan has been subpoenaed along with the chick who went with him to Cuba. So, they're being looked at for providing foreign aid to a country that's under embargo. So he's in a bit of trouble.
Interesting.
Plus, Cuba has a lot of special rules that they've put in for years about not doing stuff there.
I thought they removed a lot of those rules, though, under Obama.
No, Obama did, like, I'm not going to prosecute anybody. We'll try to normalize stuff through his Obama-ness. And then as soon as...
He never actually got rid of the rules. He just didn't prosecute it.
Which is why there was a major Supreme Court case that was a 9-0 decision from just this last week. Remember, so when he was doing that, several cruise companies started docking in Havana and, letting their cruise guests out. And
Excursions.
And so they got sued in federal court because Americans and American companies had owned those ports prior to Castro taking Cuba. So they were trying to now recoup from the cruise company the loss of their property, since the cruise company was now profiting off going to Cuba. There's
from stolen.
There was a nexus to be able to sue them, and the cruise companies had appealed and said, "No, you can't go after us for this." And the Supreme Court went 9-0. Ketanji Brown actually wrote the decision saying, "Yeah, they can. Everybody here agrees. Like, if you get a 9-0 decision, you're effed. You're writing a check. Just
and
get ready to do it."
It's hilarious that they let her write the decision. It's like, you're never going to be writing these, so we'll let you have this one. But yeah, so, and the other thing with the whole situation with Hassan is he knew about this. He knew he could go to prison for going to Cuba. And we've got receipts of it. So let me pull up a clip.
Do you think it's one of those cases where he thought this would never happen to him?
I think he thinks he's bigger than he is, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. The Avs are also playing right now, so I'm distracted. And don't have as many screens as usual because one of them is being taken up by the Avs. Hi, Carrie.
Hello. I'm sorry, my hair's wet. I had to put this on.
Oh, I was about to say, Carrie, are you going to have some health news to share with
us? Is there a cult you're joining?
My husband was like, whatever. I was doing everything all at once. I was like, I'm just going on like this. I don't have time to do anything with it.
Look at the screen very angrily and just ball your fist and say Superman. No.
Superman. I look like your auntie, right? Your auntie. Does your auntie look like this?
Right.
Your black auntie. Never mind. That's like a 227 joke.
Your blontie.
Yes.
So did you hear about Hassan, Carrie?
No, I saw something happening on X, but I didn't have time to check it out. Did he get detained or something?
He's being subpoenaed by the DOJ for his little excursion over to Cuba.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So we were just about to check out a clip of...
Yeah, let's watch it.
An old clip of him talking about why he didn't go on another trip to Cuba.
I did cancel the Cuba trip, yes, because I didn't want to go to prison. And unfortunately,
So I would think that could be brought up.
He's going to run. He won't do it. No, he'll do it. We're locked in. What's the context behind you saying U.S. deserved 9/11? It's very simple. American foreign policy and intervention in the region directly caused blowback and led to 9/11.
So,
I mean, the second half of the clip doesn't do anything, but just remind you how much of a dick this guy is. So,
well, yeah, if there was any argument to say, well, I wasn't aware that going to Cuba could be viewed as a illegal
yeah, he can't
action.
claim ignorance now because there are clips, receipts of him saying, I would go to prison if I went. So,
What did he do there? I don't know enough about this dude. I just started hearing.
well, Cuba's
him.
under embargo, and him going over and providing any supplies or anything, which they went over and he stayed in a hotel while all the Cubans have no power. He was in the only hotel with running water and power in the country,
No, go figure.
having a party. And I mean, they took supplies with them. So that is trying to get around an embargo from the United States government.
Oh, they also subpoenaed Medea Benjamin, Code Pink founder.
Correct. That was the chick who went with him.
Okay.
So this is him addressing the situation. I think this was yesterday.
And I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's not great. The news is not great. Okay. I mean, it's bullshit,
No, it's not.
but still not great that, you know, they're after your boy. They're up my ass. And I'll obviously
That'll
get into
come
it right
later,
now.
actually.
Yeah.
I'll tell you all
that's the
about
prison
it.
portion.
But let me blast off real quick. We will free you, brother. Yeah, free me. Free me.
Whatever.
Free me. I can't believe I'm saying that.
Well, you knew what could happen, dumbass. I mean,
Oh no, I feel so bad for the man.
yeah, I know.
Whatever will we do? How will we survive?
Yep. So that's what's going on with Hassan. I don't have many more details other than that. And so I just thought I'd bring it to everybody's attention because that's a win. And then we can start our celebration of our other win from this week, Chad. Do you want
Told
to
you
celebrate?
so.
Wait a second. Okay, so wasn't Ashley St. Clair just on his podcast?
Yes.
Hassan Piker? Okay.
Oh, she's gone off the fucking deep end.
Okay.
She's speed running
I'm just
her
trying to
conversion.
figure out who I've just started hearing about him in the past year. I know
He's
crazy
Chunk
about-
Younger.
He's Cenk Uger's
Uger's
Right.
nephew.
Right, and I know he electrocutes his dog. I saw the clip
Yes.
of that.
worth millions, and all he does is spout off about communism nonstop.
Yep.
And I saw the clip about him talking about how everyone should steal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was also,
The cruel crime of theft.
this is a little bit more allegedly in the territory of allegedly.
Allegedly.
But the reason he has to work from his house and stream from his house and doesn't get to go to the Young Turk studio is because he was a little bit too handsy with the people working there.
That does not shock me in the slightest, guys. I mean,
So his
He-
uncle
he
basically told him
was
he had to
a-
go work from home.
yeah,
Go ahead.
he was a dude bro back in the day, like the Manosphere
Right.
kind of dude bro. So
Yep.
Really?
yeah,
That's how he started as,
That's how he
as
got
a
started.
streamer.
That
He's the
makes a lot of
socialist
sense.
evolution of a guy
Yes.
who lives in Romania.
Yes, this is a common trajectory I'm finding out. Or the other way.
Well, once he's in prison, there's going to be another common component to the trajectory too, and it's going to be when he drops the soap.
this could be a rectal trajectory.
He's going to have his hand in someone's pocket.
Maybe he and Don Lemon will do time together.
Well, I mean, he's a little too exotic for Don Lemon. You know how Don Lemon likes his Wonder Bread, we'll just say that way.
White bread.
Yeah. But I was going even more because Wonder Bread's super enriched. It's like it
Made
is
with no actual wheat.
Yep.
Super
Just
enriched
bleached
with
flour.
whiteness.
But yeah, so for the victory lap, I believe again, I got to start pulling these clips. When Carrie was on last week, and I was like, "Oh, he's losing by at least 5, probably more," and 100% that he got trounced. And it was. Here's the fun thing: he's now doing a tour, and I've got some bookmark clips from when he's doing his interviews today, where he's blaming the boomers.
For not being able to recognize what is an AI video and what is not.
Or
Wait,
you know,
what?
Yeah.
the actual self-reflection could be, I'm in a district Trump won by like 90%. So when I'm visibly warring with Trump and blocking his policies, maybe, just maybe, the people who voted for me aren't going to be happy with me.
Yeah. He
Well,
basically said boomers are old and stupid, and hopefully they're going to die soon. Like that's essentially what he's saying.
right. As
Wow,
soon as they
he's
die,
serious?
I would
Wow.
I
Yeah.
would have won the election if
Yeah,
all the
he's
boomers
like,
were dead because they just
thankfully-
don't get it.
He's like, thankfully they'll be gone. So, well, you should play the clip. So I'm paraphrasing. I said the more cruel version, but that's what he said.
Chad,
He's
if
like,
you want to bring that one specifically up,
Yep,
if
I'm
you
getting
got
it right now.
you know what? I will say this for anyone listening, and I said this on X. Whether you are happy with the news or upset with the news, no matter what the news is, at least you know what it is in advance if you watch the bullpen.
And we appreciated that.
That's how I know what's going on at all.
Well, I've at least got predictions for what's going to happen this week, so we'll get into those later. But
So
There you
this
go.
was on NBC News today. Massey.
he said a lot of
his
dumb
name on
stuff
the
on this
ballot
interview.
because he didn't even know I wasn't his congressman. That's how much they've bamboozled the people here in Kentucky. They used artificial intelligence to create a video, lifelike video, that showed me checking into a hotel room with AOC
It was in fact Ro Khanna.
and Ilhan Omar and holding hands with them. It was actually very effective on the boomers. But here's the thing, Kristen, that's only going to work for a little bit longer. The boomers are going to, leave this country.
He caught himself.
He was about to say they're gonna
The boomers
die.
are gonna die off.
He caught himself. They're gonna
Wow.
leave this earthly plane.
All right. This is again allegedly, in my opinion, conspiracy theory. Once his first wife died, he went off the rails, and I think a lot of this shit. And because I was talking with my dad about it, and I'm going to go allegedly, in my opinion, no actual facts that I'm alleging that are saying this. So this is all an opinion statement, First Amendment protected. I think that his stuff with the Epstein thing is confession through projection about a lot of the weird shit he started doing once his wife died with staffers and other people and getting into some things. And I think he's probably knee deep in, ordering pizza. So that's just my opinion, personally, on what I think may have gone driving this guy off the deep end.
Chad has a little bit deeper anger towards Massey than than some. I liked Massey for a while, but in the last couple of years, he's just gone off the deep end like so many. Like,
Yeah.
I think he started listening to the podcaster class in the
Yeah.
last year, and got sucked into the whole Israel, and that is not a winning thing in the Republican Party.
I mean, this guy at his when he lost on Tuesday came out and
Immediately.
basically said the Jews and
Yeah, the Jews just bought a seat in Congress. And
Here's
then you
the-
had Cenk from the Young Turks, decrying that how could the Republicans get rid of Thomas Massey? He's the greatest. Cenk Uygur, Young Turks. Anna Kasparian, Young Turks. That's who he's courting.
And he's trying to say that this is what they leave off. Here's the thing about political money. Yes, when political money is completely one-sided, it can drive elections. As an example, in Virginia, Abigail Spanberger had 18 times the amount of money terrible candidate Winsome Sears had. So it was easy for her to just destroy Winsome Sears in the election.
The spending in this was like
This is-
34 million to 28 million.
Yeah, this
There
is
was
not
a
that
huge
situation.
disparity.
What happens when the money is actually not that far off is that people are just actually voting how they feel. because the money is kind of in betting terms it's called a push, right? It's not a net one way or the other. And money.
Also, what happens in podcast land does not always translate to normies because not that many people watch podcasts like ours.
Well, the other thing is, as an example of why money doesn't necessarily matter, is when you take an election and you effectively nationalize it. It's no longer a function of the money and everything else. As an example, like Hillary Clinton, how much did she outspend Trump by? How much did Kamala outspend Trump by? Each time they were 5 or 6 times the order of magnitude in terms of spending that Trump's campaign was. Massey's, the actual voters of his district did not like what he was doing. They didn't like him grandstanding and not supporting Trump here. And I posted this in a response on X myself when I was responding to someone. What the primary voters have been saying this whole season is we want team players who are ready to play to win. And that's who we're tired of people who could, like Indiana, when they wiped out all the guys who wouldn't redistrict. In Texas, they're about to send John Cornyn packing for Paxson.
And that's the prediction that
Cassidy
I'm absolutely going with, is that Cornyn is done.
Yeah, Cassidy.
The second Paxton got the endorsement from Trump,
everything
flipped to like 95% chance for.
If you want an interesting thing, like Cassidy, the sitting incumbent senator for Louisiana, came in 3rd in his primary. Like that means he wasn't even good enough to be the second choice.
It's almost impossible to unseat an incumbent senator.
And
like
he was
the last time one has been primaried was like 25 years ago. Politics was in a completely different place.
And this is another thing that Trump has gotten people ready to do. We want people who are not just going to go along to get along. We're ready. We see what the left does. I mean, I live in Virginia. They got in a state that's effectively 52-47, or as a result, if you want to go by the more accurate result, which was this constitutional amendment that they had passed that got thrown out, it was 51-48. It's even closer. It's a two or 2.5 point difference in terms of voters for the whole state. Most of that is foreign nationals, by the way. Anyway, so if you and they got in this kind of state, and they immediately have been trying to bulldoze every check and balance to put forth their agenda with no fault. Like you have Maryland, right? The gentleman's agreement that Indiana senators said they have was, well, we wouldn't redistrict because Maryland absolutely promised they wouldn't do theirs. And Maryland is going full steam ahead with now redistricting to try to pick up and eliminate the one last Republican congressman in Maryland. Now, here's where that's going to be interesting. Prediction here. This is the next bit of knowledge. Maryland, that's going to backfire in their faces spectacularly, because Larry Hogan, the Republican governor that was there previously, is the one who's appointed the majority of the state Supreme Court justices. And Maryland has rules about having fair and balanced congressional districts that they have kind of abused to get to that all but one, Republican. And so if it goes to court, which it will, there's a distinct possibility they end up losing seats because they're going to mandate a fair map and end up possibly adding 2 Republican seats to Maryland over the one they already have.
I had the numbers a little bit wrong. Carrie gave us the numbers real quick. So Massey's side spent $16 to almost $20 million. The Galrain side spent $19 to about $21.6 million. So there was only about a $3 to $5 million difference in the money. Just to clarify.
Yeah. So, in a district that size, that's like nothing. That's
and just to say, like, it's a lot of people were touting the $32 million figure. I had seen that so many times, and I just took it at face value, saying that that's what AIPAC spent. Actually, it was $32 million total for Massey and Galrain. Like,
it just happens to be the most expensive,
sources. Right? But
primary
from all sources, it was $32 million. That was the total primary estimate for both sides, from all sources, the actual campaign and outside. So it's just weird how these numbers get, like, I don't know. People just start saying stuff. They pick up something. I do the same sometimes. I hear something. I just take it at face value, and then you start repeating that. And
then the lie becomes the truth.
yeah.
The other thing I've seen a whole bunch of people spreading on Twitter about this specific race was, well, Galrain had 10,000 mail-in ballots, just dumped. And it's like, okay, and Massey had 8,000. So there's not a significant difference. This is not like Joe Biden gets, 200,000 votes dumped at 2 a.m. One had 8,000, one had 10,000. And the margin of victory pretty much matches where you are with that. I mean, it's crazy what people are trying to say on this one. But yeah, the one that bugs me most is the, Israel just bought a seat in Congress. And then you've got, like I said, Cenk Uygur crashing out saying, well, the Republican Party is under total control of the Jews now.
This is so. Let me just say,
because we lost Kentucky District 4.
It's so stupid. And I have a friend whose opinion I asked, because I actually respect her. And a lot of people who post nasty comments on my strangers who post nasty comments on my profile, I don't really care what they think. But I have a friend who's kind of going down this road, and so I was asking her, like, what is, how did you and I get to such different perspectives on this? And so from what I can understand, like she says and fully believes, she says AIPAC owns us. I said, so what, how do you get there? Like, how do you get to that conclusion? What am I not seeing? Because when I look up the figures, I'm just learning a lot about PACs, because you guys are talking about AIPAC all the time. It's one of thousands and thousands of PACs, and there's a lot of money in politics. I wish it wasn't there. It's one of them. The spending that it does per year is 0.6% of all the PAC spending, not even 1%. So there's all of this PAC money, and 99.4% of it is not AIPAC, and
Right.
0.6% is AIPAC, and yet you think they own us? How is that even? I don't understand. And so far I haven't gotten to. I'm still trying to get to, like, what are the pieces that my friend is putting together to get to this very radically different perspective that I don't. I know that she really wants me to make that jump and understand what she's seeing, which is that she thinks AIPAC owns us, Israel owns us. I'm like, even our budget, like if you look up what we spend in Israel, and I think it's too much, but it's not what, if you were to listen to what like my friend and other people are saying, or like Theo Vaughn, I saw him on a podcast, said, all of our budget, all of our tax dollars go to Israel. Well, it's actually 1% of our budget or less. So where's this misperception coming from?
I think we can clear some of that up. Part of what people misunderstand about AIPAC is actually made up of American citizens that also have dual citizenship with Israel for the most part. So it is the American citizens.
American Israeli Political Action Committee.
Okay.
Right.
So they don't have to register as foreign agents or anything when they're making political donations, unlike lobbyists that are directly lobbying for another country with no citizenship ties. Like Qatar has a lobby, has a PAC. They're lobbying our politicians in the same way that AIPAC does, and usually with a lot more money than AIPAC does. The thing is, they don't like it that they don't have to register as foreign agents because they are American citizens donating through AIPAC.
Okay. Are there other?
So that's kind of where it started, and then that's just blown up.
And I'm really asking. I don't know. Is that a unique thing for Israel?
What it really ties back, and because Jewish people are disproportionately successful, especially in finance, they therefore have a disproportionate amount of money to donate to political campaigns. They historically have, even if they are American citizens, prioritized the existence and safety of Israel when they've donated said money. So in the end, it boils down to people going, the Jews.
Yeah.
And that's what it really is. When they
It's
say
not even
AIPAC,
Israel, it's
when they say AIPAC, it's because they think there's a new world order global Jewish conspiracy with Jewish space lasers and all the other.
Are you talking about
things.
Zog?
Yeah.
Zionist occupied government?
Yeah, so it's
I've
the
been
most
seeing
ridiculous
that acronym
thing.
comics.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not new. I've always laughed whenever I heard people talk about it.
Zog sounds like something sci-fi, like It sounds like a. Oh gosh, what was that?
Are you
hilarious-
down with Zog?
To Josh Hammond's point, the far more accurate and more conspiratorial thing would be to go after the historic Muslim Brotherhood, going all the way back to the Ottoman Empire and Caliphate designs, where Qatari money, Saudi money, Pakistani money, like all this oil money is being used to buy off politicians. There was abscam in the 1980s where they were catching massive amounts of congressmen taking money from, it was FBI agents, but they were posing as Muslim oil barons coming in to buy, influence.
Well,
So
Tucker now has a house in Qatar, I believe.
Oh, good for him.
We have been speculating on where his money is coming from and why his views changed so dramatically on Islam. And that's kind of where I want the conversation to end up going, is the political influencer class and what's going on with them and the Jews. I mean, you've got Tucker, you've got Megan, you've got Dave Smith, you've got
Yeah, what the
Barnes
fuck happened
Law.
with Dave Smith, man? That
Barnes Law, the Hodge twins. I mean, Barris, Richard Barris.
you want to know how good Barnes Law is? Ask Wesley Snipes if he went to jail.
Right.
Yeah, that's his, like, he's been going out to lunch on the fact that he was Wesley Snipes' attorney. I would not be doing that. You lost that case.
Well,
He went to jail.
So that I've been looking at, because people have been posting a compilation of all of Barnes's predictions, and they've all been wrong. So it's the inverse of the bullpen. Don't listen to if you want to know what's going to happen. Don't listen.
That would be the
Barnes.
Jim Kramer. You're talking
the
about
one
the
that's-
inverse Kramer.
Yeah, the one that's real bad is Barris. I mean, he's a pollster, and he was willing to bet that Massey was going to win that.
Except he didn't. You know what he ended
He
up
didn't
betting?
make the bet. He ended up betting.
He ended up
on
betting
Gowron, and
Gowron
then
winning
saying,
5
I
to 10
accidentally
points.
clicked the wrong one.
of course.
I didn't keep that clip. I should have.
Yeah, let me see. I think I bookmarked it.
Okay.
I think there's a couple things happening. I think there's different. Obviously, we know there's different echo chambers. There's the left echo chamber, the right, but there's also it's much more atomized than that, and there's entirely different streams and influences you could be getting fed than your friend is getting,
Right.
and I think also when it comes to the quote unquote influencer class, someone like Dave Smith, for example, take a look at Dave Smith. You look at some of the opportunities, like the bigger shows he's been on in the past year or two. If you want to be in the good graces of a Tucker Carlson or get noticed by, do you know what I mean? Like, you kind of have to kind of be open to where Tucker Carlson is going.
Notice me,
And-
senpai. Notice me, senpai.
Yes.
Please.
And you
Yep.
you will forgive more things because, and maybe it starts off innocently because you idolize that person, you have a certain idea of what they're like, and they start to change, and you're okay with it, and you're going along slowly because you can't. I don't know. Maybe it's happening so slowly you can't see it happening. But I got to a point where with Tucker, I could see it happening. I had friends who warned me ahead of time who are maybe more perceptive than I am. And I kept saying, I like to wait a while. I was like, no, I'm still hoping that's just a red flag. That's a fluke. That's a fluke. Maybe, I'm going to wait and see. And then eventually I had to tell my friend, no, you were right about him. It just took, I wanted to give him a chance to.
Well, you got there quicker on Megyn Kelly than I did.
That's true. But, I'm still not I still have friends who are telling me who get there quicker on some of these people. I'm like, thank God for discerning friends. But I also think, it's good to take your time. It's not good to just jump to make snap judgments about people. And anyway, I'm getting off the subject. My point is, I think that there are certain things, incentives for going down a path that your favorite influencer is going down.
Yeah.
So here's the clip, by the way. Rich Barris and and Barnes, who have spent the last months going, being masochists.
Massey crazy.
Yeah, and so this is the day after when they're trying to oh well, I guess here's what happened.
Guess we were wrong.
Hey, what happened? What happened? So here.
So yeah, guys, I don't know what to tell you. The other night, like I was saying, and I know Paul's listening, I accidentally bought Gallrin 5 to 10. So
this fuck has been running a poll
I'm a
for
pollster.
for months in that district, and he
I
waited
have
it.
access to all of the campaign,
Yeah.
information.
He talked about in his previous things, he was talking about how he was weighting the poll to try to get most accurate, but the raw numbers were always Gowron like trouncing Massey. And he was weighting the turnout to try to get it to a Massey and he got it to a Massey +1 by somehow weighting it where like the 20-year-old vote would somehow come out.
Only under 45 was just going to massively turn out, which they did, to be fair. It was like a 30-point trouncing in the younger age bracket.
But they don't come out and
This is a
vote.
Republican primary.
Well, no, they don't come out and vote in regular elections.
Exactly.
Either. Like, this is what happened. This is a microcosm of just regular elections. You want to know why boomers still get what they want? They come out and vote. Gen X is just now activating. And they vote, by the way, Gen X was also voting against Massey. And so, but here he keeps going on to try to explain it.
I cashed out before when it was like, dude, it was like a 92% return already. So I was like, oh, I am out. And I left it. And it was an accident. I didn't mean to buy him. And I was like, well, it's a hedge bet, you know, if it's wrong, because I really did see this race going like this for either side. And by the way,
that is not at all what was being stated.
Nope. So he's
so
a liar.
Do you
He
think
put
he
money
really
on-
accidentally bought?
No, he bought what he thought was
No,
going
he
to be the
cashed
real
out.
thing. Yep.
Based on the information he had, while he lied to everybody about the information he had.
Wow.
Personal opinion, but you don't accidentally buy the wrong bet on Kalshi or
There's a lot of in-between steps to verify what you're purchasing. It's not an oopsie-ma-daisy.
Like right now, I have a Kalshi bet on the Republicans retaining the House and the Senate in the midterms. And that percentage has gone up quite nicely over the past few weeks with all the changes that we told you guys would be happening. I am not a financial advisor.
Oh, are you now?
I mean, you could have put bets on Virginia's redistricting, by the way, which if you had been listening going back, you could have made a good
Now,
amount.
where is Kalshi with our with our sponsorship?
Where I'm still waiting for our $7,000 Jew money,
Yeah.
which we were
It
supposed to be
hurts not
getting.
getting those checks.
Hey, I can call a guy for you.
Did we?
Sweet.
Oh, did we miss a super chat way back?
Yeah, we did. And it's something we're going to talk about later, but we can quickly address it. Deadman for $4.99 says, Tulsi resigning is a huge blow. She did a lot of good. It's understandable, but sucks. I hope Trump picks a good one to replace her. Yeah, I think Tulsi did a fine job.
Tulsi was my number one. And, like even as happy as I've been with how Rubio has been better than expected, I was always on the Tulsi wagon in the ODNI for DNI, the Director of National Intelligence, because she actually started regulating the intelligence agencies, which is why you're seeing all these hit pieces constantly. The two people who are constantly getting hit pieces, well, three. The three that are constantly getting hit pieces because they're actually over the target where power and money are intersecting for Democrats. Tulsi at DNI, where they exercise all of their, intelligence community control. Robert RFK over at HHS, where that obviously you can see how much money is being grifted and fraudulently paid out to all that stuff under Medicare, Medicaid, and all the other programs that HHS runs. And then Pete Hegseth at Defense, who they are constantly going after. And I can tell you, I have brothers-in-law and friends who are enlisted, and they love Hegseth and what he's doing as enlisted people. Nothing's ever perfect, but they're doing way more for the enlisted people. It's the flag officer corps, the corporation type where you leave being a general to becoming a board member on Raytheon class that is very unhappy with Hegseth. So, because he's trying to promote warfighter.
You're forgetting the rules, Chad.
Lil Chad always wants more, and so do I.
Stop me with Bryce Dallas Howard. Yeah. I'm not. Well, I'm never. I'm gonna stop if it's Bryce Dallas Howard. That's the rule.
So, Josh, Tulsi left because her husband has a rare form of bone cancer.
Yeah,
and
it sucks.
She would rather spend her time with him, which is completely understandable.
because by all accounts, they have a genuinely loving relationship as opposed to a lot of political marriages. Which, I mean, you know, Christy Nome would have said, peace out, you go do your chemo, I'm going to stay here. If it was her husband.
Yep.
Allegedly with a former New Hampshire political operative who helped on the Trump campaign. Allegedly.
Lewandowski.
Yep. Allegedly, she's been banging him for years. Allegedly.
Her
Allegedly,
husband
her
is-
husband isn't into her either. So.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
but
he's a
Tulsi's-
drag queen.
Tulsi and her husband are pretty young too. It's like, yeah, I completely understand her wanting to resign.
Yeah, and when you've got the means, which they, as a family, absolutely do, I would spend every minute with my spouse as well if I had the means to not have to work during that time period.
Yep.
And hopefully he's okay. I believe his name's Zachary. Different last name, I think.
Abraham.
Abraham?
Yeah, I was just looking to see how old they are. Abraham
Okay.
Williams.
By the way, I'm just going to share this real quick because it made me laugh.
I wanted to know it was me.
That's great.
Now, if only there was a like remote control underneath the dog's paw on the bottom one, pressing it down.
That's fucking
Hassan,
hilarious.
are you moving out of your 4x4 cage zone? I'm sorry, I'm going to have to shock you now.
I love jokes like that because it requires two different kinds of insider baseball knowledge. Like you have to know Game of Thrones and you have to know whatever the podcast lore is.
I mean, I do like that they, the whole, obviously, the boys had their season finale, the series finale this week, and people are using the Homelander part. They put Hassan's face on it and are doing the quote from when Homelander was about to get removed from the scene. Tell
I haven't
Donald
seen that one yet, but
tell
I know
Donald.
I've seen the scene.
Yeah. It's tell Donald I'll F and S is D. Come on, don't do it.
Begging for his life.
Yep.
Well, the funny thing about it is that they were trying to say, oh, this is basically how authoritarian dictators act when they lose their power. And of course, we all know Homelander is a Trump allegory. It's like, dude, when Trump was at his most vulnerable, he stood up and pumped his fist.
He got
after
shot in
getting
the ear and said,
Yeah.
fight, fight, fight.
Comics, I was thinking the same thing because I know they're trying to say that's what Trump would be like without if he stripped his power away. And you're absolutely, I thought of the same moment when he stood up being shot at.
Yeah. I mean, the whole situation's really stupid. And
It's funny because I was just talking about that earlier today with my wife, the Butler situation. I was like, there's still people going crazy saying that it was faked. Like they got a marksman.
Well,
and
then
I
all
was
of
like,
them have been faked.
I was like, the idea, this is how you tell these people have never shot a gun in their effing life. The idea that you could make a shot where you purposefully, as he's moving his head, will tag just his ear and not go, JFK style on him from like 100 plus yards is like ridiculous. Like in terms of if you were shooting a paper target at 100 yards and you were off like a millimeter from like the bullseye, you'd still consider that a great shot. You're fine. That's like, that's within your tolerance range of hitting your target.
But also the people thinking it was staged by the government. All of these have been staged by the government. It's like somebody died at Butler.
Yeah.
yeah. That's the thing these idiots don't
And not
fucking
just the
understand.
shooter. Somebody in the crowd was shot.
Yeah.
I mean, no. And also, you're not going to get somebody to volunteer to walk into the White House Correspondents' Dinner and just try to open fire, knowing that they're likely to die from doing that.
Yeah.
That takes
right.
a special kind of, I'm completely insane, not the government put him up to it. And he was like, yeah, I'm good with dying or being in bars the rest of my life.
One thing on that, just to tag on that, is I've noticed at least on my interactions with people online on Facebook and X and other places, and some people in real life, it's not just the left who thinks all this crazy conspiracy stuff that the assassination attempts were faked or that Israel killed Charlie Kirk, or it was staged or something. It's also, again, this is where the horseshoes, the two extremes, the two insane extremes are meeting up, because the woke right, whatever, if you don't like that phrase, whatever, the Israel people, like, they think the same. They think they're telling me the same thing. They're like, oh, it was staged. Trump did that. He killed that fireman in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
The
Well,
guy in custody did not shoot Charlie Kirk. Israel did it.
Speaking
His
of
wife did it.
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of intersecting issues, this is going to be good for you, Carrie, because someone from true crime fame is coming in defense of trans rights. And I don't know if you think, look at this and tell me if you think this is going to be good for their, for
Casey.
Oh my goodness. No. Sociopaths, well, makes sense.
It's like, if I'm the trans rights people, I'm like, fuck you, get away
Is
from
that
us.
real?
Get away from us. Yes, it is.
Okay, just remind us who Casey Anthony
Casey
is.
Anthony,
She
who
killed her
killed her baby.
daughter. She's the one who, and she got off. She drowned her daughter.
Because she blamed her parents. Like, she, in the middle of the trial, she shifted the argument. She had her lawyer change it to, well, her dad probably murdered her daughter.
When was this?
This was like 20 years ago.
2008.
Yeah.
And she, there was all this, there was a lot of extra circumstantial evidence that came out during the trial as well, of like her partying it up when her daughter was supposedly missing.
She
made
her,
up, wait.
Oh,
she made-
God.
she
Okay,
made up
now
the nanny.
I remember that case.
Yeah,
Now I
she
remember the
also
case.
did Google searches on how to get rid of the body.
Yes, and she made up a nanny named like Zeldina or something, some imaginary woman, and said she was with the nanny who didn't exist. And she also pretended to work at like Disney or somewhere. Where was it? And she took the investigators there, and then finally admitted when she got there and they couldn't find her office that she just took them on a wild goose chase, that she didn't have a job and didn't work there. Like, she's just what do you call somebody who makes up things all the time.
Pathological
liar.
Pathological liar about everything. And she was willing to, I'm sorry I spoke over you, Lil Chad, but this case makes me so upset. Also, she was willing, like you said, she threw her parents under the bus just to come up with some kind of alternative, like, without jurors who don't understand the reasonable doubt thing. If you can cast aspersions on someone else and then dumb people think, well, I guess maybe aliens could be real, like maybe possibly her parents could have done it. She was willing to point the finger at her parents, who stood by her the whole time. Like,
Which is
willing to do that.
And-
which is where people get
And the
the
reason
justice
it got
system.
blown up and famous was because she was a semi-good-looking woman.
Well, it was also on court
I mean, the
TV.
news was all over this.
Well, like
E!
Carrie,
and
what
all
Carrie's
the
talking
entertainment
about
stuff.
is they had the pictures of her clubbing. She was a fairly attractive young girl, and she was out, and the pictures were of her being a fairly attractive young girl in a club setting in the 2000s. So she was a little more
Tramp Stampy?
whatever you want to
Tramp
say.
Stampy.
She was,
Well, that's the early 2000s.
Yeah, her and Tequila were definitely friends, and and so those pictures, and it was on court TV.
Tequila.
So that also helps when it was, to me, it was like, it was the bookend with the Jodi Arias one. They came kind of in succession, and if you wanted to see, no offense to gender or anything, what was wrong with a demographic of young ladies, those two trials kind of summed it up perfectly in terms of what you got to be worried about if you're a male, right? Because in one hand, she murdered her child, and on the other hand, she murdered what could have been.
She can
the
completely
husband.
separate that in her.
And they
personality.
have no remorse. There's like, both of them
No.
had not
Keeping
not
me
a
from enjoying my
scintilla.
20s.
Yes, that is exactly what it was. And in the Jodi Arias case, like, Casey Anthony went after her parents. Jodi Arias blamed the victim that she murdered and said he was a pedophile.
Yes, they both tried to blame Casey Anthony. Similarly, tried to cast aspersions on her father and was like, well, maybe my father molested me when I was a kid, just to make up something.
I've got
like
repressed
that.
memories, maybe.
Yes, and Jodi Arias did the same. You're right. Any like true crime, like this is one of those big cases, that a lot of people who follow true crime were really just angry about, and rightfully so. And she's done several. I don't know. She had some special afterwards with, like, a pretty big special where it was sort of, rehabilitating her image. And it's just crazy that she's posting leftist stuff now. Of course she is. Have they embraced her? Do you know?
Oh, of course they have. She's
saying the things.
remember, abortion is the decision between the woman
Yeah.
and her doctor, and it can take place at any phase in the child's life.
No, it's what we
Up
call
till age
post-birth
18.
abortion.
Yeah. So they
I've got
just
to
that
address
it was
this one
just a
real quick.
very, very late term.
WG. Brahma's keeping it cool during a tight game. You can't teach that. Is it not showing how red my face is from anger right now?
Are
Is
you
it-
not
is the camera
entertained?
just not catching
I
it?
thought that was your normal color.
Because it's 4-3.
It's 4-3 Vegas right now.
They're
with
about to
like
go
5
up
minutes
3-0,
left.
and that's a big
Buddy, you're
difference from
screwed.
2-1.
And we had a 3-0 lead in this game in the first period. So, yeah.
This is all hockey
The redness
talk now,
is my
Carrie.
anger.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
The hockey Stanley Cup playoffs. My team is playing right now in the conference finals. So
When you
I'm
guys talk about it,
somewhat
it's like,
distracted.
I'm sorry. It's like Charlie Brown speak. I was just like,
Yeah, it's kind of how I feel too, Carrie.
is that
Whenever I hear some sort of like sport name, I immediately tune out.
But chat knows where my attention is, so I'm trying to keep it cool. Did you have the other clip? Well, I've got the other clip from Massey. Or
Can I say one last thing? I just looked it
Yeah.
up. The Casey Anthony thing.
Uh-huh.
It's not just the LGBT. It says so she is now a legal advocate and quote and a proponent for the LGBTQ community and women's rights. And she's going to use the platform that was thrust upon her and look at it as a blessing. You murdered your daughter.
Yeah, I was about to say, the child she killed was a daughter. So if you want to talk about women's rights, I would imagine that her daughter had rights too. And this kid was like the cutest little girl you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And by all accounts, she was a sweet little girl. Like, she was not a mean kid, and it just got in the way of her clubbing, so she was done.
Yep.
Like, I'm not necessarily an advocate for when judges, there's been cases where judges have ordered like women have their tubes tied, or depending on the situation or things like that. Obviously she was found not guilty, so you can't really make it if you were able to condition in her case, I would have been like, you should never have children ever in your life. you should be completely barred from ever being a caregiver in any capacity. But speaking of that, there's Thomas Massey.
So yeah, this clip is him talking about TDS and the new syndrome.
At least you also broke with President Trump on other key issues, voting against the so-called Big Beautiful Bill. You're opposed to the Iran war, as you just stated. Congressman Massey, was it all worth it?
It was absolutely worth it for me. Now, I think it's going to be worth it for the party. Look, the left, some people on the left have Trump derangement syndrome. They call it TDS. But there's a growing number of people on the right who have a form of TDS called Trump disappointment syndrome. And I think what's going to happen to the party this fall is they've disenfranchised a large portion of that constituency that Trump assembled to get us in the White House, in the Senate majority, and in the House majority. They've alienated MAHA by kowtowing to the pesticide manufacturers and the pharmaceutical manufacturers. They've alienated the fiscal hawks by running Doge out of town. They've alienated the people who don't want to fight another war for other countries. And so I'm worried that in November this is going to cost the party a lot. But for me, it was completely worth it. And I've got 7 more months to keep going against the grain, which means voting for principles and for people over party.
Let me ask.
Yeah. So that's like all the people on Twitter that are like, I didn't vote for this. Or, so many people come up to me and they're like, I voted for Trump 3 times, but I'm not on board with anything he's done. It's like, I don't know anybody who really says that.
I don't.
Not people who were on board from the beginning. I think there are some people probably upset by a few
I've
things.
seen a lot of people
But-
who have done those interviews where they find out that they were donating to Act Blue all 3 of the previous elections and were in fact not Trump supporters in any of the
Right.
elections.
So, and then the other thing that he said in this interview was basically, well, I've seen the Epstein file. I know all the names. I'm going to say them before the end of my term.
Including reiterating the 4 or 5 guys who weren't involved at all, that were just regular people that him and Ro Khanna called out on the floor and almost destroyed their lives for no reason,
And
using
the
legislative
DOJ had
privilege.
to say there was nothing there that with those guys. So, I
So
mean,
why are they?
he's been
why-
complaining this whole time that the names haven't been released, that the Epstein files are incomplete. And if he's had the names this whole time, he's
Why not
completely
release them?
clear to just say them on the floor of Congress, and he can't be, nothing can be done to him.
Yeah. So
And why wait? I mean, he's like, I'll do it at some point. It's like, this was one of your main things against Trump. You and Ro Khanna, this is your thing. You sided with the Democrats and Ro Khanna about this issue. So why didn't you ever step up and do anything if it was that big a deal?
it sounds like a game.
So, well, here's the. I'm gonna go. All right, allegedly opinion statement alert. If it these the victims, right? The ones that Massey got out there, and he was, like, it's for these victims of Epstein. Number one, a couple of the people that were out with him were people convicted of recruiting and providing women to Epstein. Number two, there's no one's going to enforce an NDA against these girls. Who's going to enforce it? Like, Epstein's estate? What the fuck? Like, Epstein's estate is going to somehow come in, or Ghislaine Maxwell is going to try to enforce no, nobody is going to do that. So put up or shut up, right? I'm not saying that Epstein didn't harm and do a lot of things to I don't think that necessarily all of those girls were those people, the ones that were out there with Massey and Ro Khanna, because knowing what we know about several of them who were recruiters, who were pulling girls in for them, and that's the
if you wanted to get out of being dealt with Epstein,
yeah,
you
so
had to provide a replacement.
If they did a press conference and they said, here X, Y, and Z, here's, like, let me name some, like, and said this person and that person and that person, you know why they won't do that? Because they don't have evidence, and they would get sued for defamation, and they would just destroyed for coming out there and saying that. The only people that Massey actually and Khanna actually named on the floor that weren't already known were those random people who weren't actually involved, that they destroyed their lives for. It's a lot like when Nancy Mace was bitter at her ex-boyfriend and decided to accuse him of rape. She did it on the congressional floor because there's something called legislative privilege. A congressman or woman cannot be held accountable for defamation if they say something in Congress. On the floor of Congress. They are completely immune from liability from it, which is why Massey said those things there and then did not say them anywhere else, because he's trying to shield himself from liability. It's also why Nancy Mace did the same thing, because when she made those accusations on the floor, and then when she came off and they tried to ask her about more detail, she just goes, I said what I said. That's what I'm gonna, just that way there's only a record of her having said it legislatively.
And it's also, if there was anything in there about any of these rich and powerful people that we thought were in there, it would have come out, especially Trump.
Yeah.
The Democrats had these
if it was
files
actually
for
in there
years
for
as
Trump,
well.
they would have used against him in the election.
At this point, my belief is that the 2008 or whatever year it was investigation where he got the sweetheart deal, it was all corrupted. There is no actual list. I don't know if anybody was trafficked to except for Epstein.
I mean, I agree with you, but
believe that there's probably some people involved. I mean, and we saw what Prince Andrew. I mean, something was going on.
yeah,
But do we
I
have a
agree with
list
you.
of people that we can definitely say we're doing anything?
Bill
Yeah,
Clinton.
they need to
Clinton.
admit that either they have something or they don't. That's ultimately the problem here. If they simply came out and said, "Hey, we looked into the files. Unfortunately, the stuff that we thought we had hoped was there was destroyed years ago. There's nothing to show for it." Grant, there's probably people
Or it
that
was
will still
never
claim,
there.
yeah, or it was never there.
It was
Grant,
a
there-
limited search warrant back in
Yeah.
2008, and he had plenty of time to clean up afterwards because he
right.
didn't really go to jail. He was on work release, and then he had to go spend the night there. I mean, he was at his house almost the whole time that he was supposed to be in jail.
If they had basically said that, I mean, Grant, some people would probably be like, "It's a cover up,"
People
but
still wouldn't believe it. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I think probably some people would, but
Brahma, do you need to stop and take a drink too now with those results? Yeah.
Yeah, we also lost McKinnon.
Yeah, because there
No,
is a
but
super for
we
that.
can address those. Dr. Jones for $20. Thanks for having me on Bourbon and Boarding this season. Thank you for being there, Dr. Jones. We're not done yet. I mean, we've still got a month of hockey.
maybe not much longer with the Avs, but there's still hockey.
And we can still sweep the last 4 games. Eric Myers for $2 says, hockey comment redacted because I like Brahma.
Eric is a Vegas fan.
And WG comes in and gives 5 memberships. Thank you very much, WG. At least your Canes aren't having the same issue I'm having, although that first game was a bit dicey for them. So yeah, I mean, if there was anything in the Epstein files, somebody would have spilled the beans at this point. Between both the Democrats and the Republicans, I don't think that the whole government is corrupt to the point that there is not one single person who would spill the beans.
come on, Brahma, they're all pedophiles.
Right.
Do we owe any of them some yeah?
Yeah, we do. I've got to go over there.
He's selecting the right
You want to hear me say something smart for once? The bullpen is awesome.
I just AI.
Here's
My new
Chad's
favorite.
I don't always watch YouTube for politics, but when I do, it is the bullpen with Brahmabull and Lil Chad.
I'm suddenly feeling left out.
I appreciate Sweeney, but you know who my favorite is, damn it.
Well, we'll do that one for WG's 5 gifted
All
members.
right.
I have a ton of thanks to give, and it could be all yours.
There,
BDH
happy?
for the win. There you go.
Simp.
I am a 100%. Bryce Dallas Howard is awesome.
I've got
I
texts
make
coming
no
in from
apologies for it,
everybody
Carrie.
about the game.
Make no apologies for it.
I don't need any apologies.
These haters are trying to convince me Bryce Dallas Howard is not an American treasure. I don't get it at all.
So is half the chat.
Bitch, are you high?
So
I saw a pretty good horror movie with that Sydney Sweeney recently.
Housemaid?
The Housemaid. Yes, that was pretty good.
Oh, the
If
thriller.
you,
Yeah.
if you like thrillers.
I mean, there was a good 2 minutes in there. Waiting for it to register.
I liked the movie. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
So I think
In a
we've
hotel.
hammered-
It worked out. I took my wife to see it in the theater. She thought it was she had read another book called The Housemaid, and she thought it was that one. So when it was done, I was like, was it good? Was it like the book? And she's like, no, it was completely different. And then after she realized it was a different book that had been adapted, she's like, but the plots were close enough that it seemed
It
like...
seemed.
because it's essentially the same story.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, and Darren's going to make me make Carrie uncomfortable. So Darren also gifted 5 memberships, and he's requesting the AI brunette. Look away, Carrie.
All hail the bullpen.
of course he asked for the worst one of them.
Well, we do have ones for the female members of the audience too, Carrie.
Well, I would like to see some Golden Girls ones on here next time. Something in my
Careful.
wheelhouse.
Careful. DB Wild asked.
No, it
asked
was
us-
Mad. Yeah.
Asked Mad, well, who would you want? And Mad just was like, man, I don't care about that. How about Mother Teresa? So he made the Mother Teresa.
We're all
one,
going
and
to
it
hell
is
because we
very
all watched
sacrilegious.
it. Yeah.
See, I just want to see one with the Golden Girls saying, thank you for donating. Here's a slice of cheesecake.
The funny thing
it
is,
was
I
a lot
kinda
more
got the idea
tame than what I was expecting.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I kind of got the idea from Michelle because she does the little clip of Rooster from Maverick every single time that
there you
they get
go.
memberships and stuff. Jim says for $5, I don't want comics to feel left out. Yeah, we need to redo some of the stuff. There is one that had comics in it. I just can't remember which one it is.
It's
Is
the
it also-
redhead that basically it's the Islamophobia.
Chad loves the Ottoman Empire. Brahma is an Islamophobiast, and comics is the smartest 5'10" midget ever.
There, we didn't leave comics out.
No, I kind of
So-
wish I was left out.
Cornyn.
Cornyn's toast on
Cornyn's toast.
Tuesday.
So what are your thoughts on Cornyn? Are you excited about that little chat?
I am, because I like guns, and Cornyn's a dick when it comes to people who like guns.
Is he really?
Yes, he helped
Like-
pass gun control for Biden.
Okay.
He doesn't care. Like, traditional rhinos are actually very, very poor on 2A. We're slow and surely getting all of them removed. But yeah, so it's not just that. Cornyn's also, he was one of the champions of quote unquote comprehensive immigration reform, which is a recipe for destroying America. So I am overjoyed that Ken Paxton is going to get in, because I think Telrico is pyrite. He's fool's gold for the Democrats, just like Beto was, except he's even worse. Because Beto didn't have clips of him talking about God being non-binary and there being
No,
six
but there are clips of
genders.
him basically saying, yes, we are coming for your guns. And that certainly is not going to play well in a state like Texas.
Right.
Yeah, so Telrico, once they're what people forget is that when they're doing these, they're not training their opposition research on Telrico. And when Telrico was running against Jasmine Crockett, she wasn't going to attack him she was attacking from the left, trying to say that she was more left than Telrico, and so she should have got nominated. When it goes to this general election, Paxton and all the PACs are just going to unload on all the crazy shit Telrico has said, and not to mention his beard girlfriend Felicia Glass, goes to a different school.
She's from Canada.
Just like the Brady Bunch. And he is going to get toast in the general election. So I think Paxton wins by probably around 7 points.
Should be.
Fairly comfortably.
Yeah. I mean, Cruz and Beto, I think it was a 3-point win for Cruz. So it tends to run a little bit closer than we all feel.
Paxton
Oh, no,
is
it was
Texas,
way closer than I would have liked.
No, but that's because Ted Cruz is obnoxious and disliked.
Yeah, he is.
Ken Paxton is actually more liked
Right.
in Texas than
I'm
Cruz
just letting
is.
everybody
He's done a
know.
lot of good here.
I mean, even though it is Texas, some of the Senate races do run a little bit tighter than we think they should. I don't think this one will. Also, Congress. But Paxton, he does have a few personal issues, a few skeletons in the closet, but I don't think it's enough to be a problem against Hillary.
So there's
So do you have
also
a staff
He
for that
also
letter
brought
stuff on fire?
more lawsuits from the state of Texas during the COVID era than any other state did
Yeah, he did.
about our rights during the COVID era.
And one of the things people are leaving out, and Carrie, this will help me as an educational component. I know you really like that part about the show. When you redistrict, like the Republicans have been doing, and they did Texas and they do Florida, redistricting also has a force multiplier effect. You don't just take away the districts to make it more Republican as your representation. you also depress turnout in the opposition party, because when you make voters think there's nothing to vote for because you're not going to have a chance to win, you don't show up. It's the California effect in reverse. In California, it's not like there aren't Republicans in California. They just don't bother voting because they don't feel like it's ever
Yeah.
going to matter, so they don't show up. In this case, in Texas, when they redistrict, and now they're telling all these people this is now a Republican plus 20 district. Well, you're not going to come up and vote because what's the point, right? Why bother? And that in turn it helps drive up statewide elections, because a lot of these zones where, even though they wouldn't necessarily be having large Democrat turnout, they're not getting anywhere near their normal turnout because the vote depresses, because they just don't feel like it matters. And that can help you in a wave election, where this is the worry, like Democrats are going to wave because everybody's unhappy with the Republicans. All this redistricting in these very large population states has a multiplying effect, where it also depresses the turnout in all these congressional districts where people now feel like they don't have a chance. So it's power politics. People don't talk about that one as much because they start, on the news, it's a lot easier to try to fight redistricting by talking about how you're disenfranchising minority voters or other things. It's a harder argument to make because no one's going to care when you say it's going to make our voters feel sad and not show up. But you can see it. It's what happens in California, in all those districts where they feel like they've got no stuff. So, like, as an example of where this matters, in New York, Lee Zeldin ran for governor, and he ran against Kathy Hochul. He did not win, but because he ran a very competent and good campaign, he drove Republican turnout in several districts that were questionable, and helped get Republicans elected because Republicans felt like they had a reason to show up to vote because they were hoping Lee could actually beat Kathy Hochul. That's why you also run people in every district, because if you don't, you're depressing your turnout for statewide offices, for federal like Senate offices, governor. So this is, in California, they have the opposite problem. California is going to benefit from the fact that in this election, this coming up election in governor and in like LA, it's looking like we're going to at least have actual Republican nominee make it through to the general election. Think about how that runs in California. They have the jungle primary where only the top two people make it. And for a lot of offices, it's just two Democrats. Mm-hmm. So Republicans really like, why am I showing up? What am I going to do? Like, I'm not even voting for any of these guys. Now they're finally going to have people on the ballot to vote for. That could end up hurting. Like, this is where
we'll see what actual turnout is when you've got somebody you can vote for instead of just voting against.
This is where there's a risk, because we've heard the term dummy mander, right? Where if you gerrymander to try to wipe out the other party, and you make the margins too thin around some of these edge districts, you could end up making more districts competitive than would have otherwise been. And in an election now where Republicans have a reason to turn out, we have a nominee for governor, we have a nominee for mayor, they will end up losing congressional seats that they would have otherwise had, because now they actually have Republicans showing up to vote when they normally just pieced out and checked out.
Which we talked about a little bit last week. What did we talk? Was it Louisiana?
It was
chose not to do every seat because
Louisiana concentrated.
Didn't want to protect some of them.
Well, no, it was because they didn't want New Orleans is one of the major urban centers and population centers of Louisiana. So instead of cutting that up and having it as part of a couple other districts, they basically concentrated New Orleans into the one Democratic district that's left. So they made it so that they're guaranteed there's absolutely no chance the other Republican ones will lose, because they put all the Democratic voters basically into one district.
Yep.
And that's what they're talking, and that's where the risk is in South Carolina, where Clyburn was threatening them because he also staffs all the
who's not going to have a seat.
Yeah. Well, some of the Republicans
redistricting is going through there. Clyburn's district will not exist.
I think a lot of those Republicans in the state Senate who voted against doing it were because Clyburn knows where the bodies are buried. The AME network, the church network that he runs, staffs all the polling places. And I think there's been several corrupt bargains where he's helped people on both sides of the aisle get what they wanted in exchange for whatever he was looking for.
He's the reason we have
Allegedly.
and Biden.
And Brown. Yep. So, but I thought I wanted to share that with you because that's an element of redistricting you probably hadn't heard before. So I wanted to give you that.
So I'll say something from a Texas perspective. I'm backing up quite a bit on what you're saying. I voted for Cornyn because I'm one of those people who is really turned off by Paxton's personal life choices. Although I know that I'm not voting for a husband, I would be, but I just really didn't like how he treated his wife and the multiple affairs and how it dragged the whole office into it and the investigation and the testimony. It was so messy and gross. However, I love what he has done, like professionally in the office, and what he just did this May. He announced that they came to a settlement with the Texas Children's Hospital lawsuit, and he's going to force them to pay like $10 million, and they have to create a detransitioner clinic. And this is on top of all the anti-DEI stuff he's done. Like, he's been great. And so
It's very much like Trump.
Yes, and I'm not going to be unhappy with him in that seat at all. And the runoff is on Monday. I didn't vote in the runoff.
Tuesday.
Oh, it's on Tuesday. Okay.
Yeah, you still have a chance to vote. So vote.
I might vote for him. I don't know. But when I went in there the day of, I was like, this is one of those things where I was like, I'm just going to go with my gut because I really like what he's done. And there wasn't enough that I disliked about Cornyn other than you just said the thing about guns. But from what I can tell, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that bipartisan gun safety bill or whatever that he passed under Biden? Wasn't it mostly just expanded background checks for
and expanded red flag laws, which are
the red flag
which are rife
laws
for abuse.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't like the red flag laws.
No, you shouldn't.
They
Nobody
expanded
should.
it. Yeah, they expanded it so that more people would be able to lodge red flags to keep you from getting your guns. And then, what is really problematic with the red flag laws? They are now making the burden on you as the person accused to prove that you are safe. I mean, what's the famous thing? Like if you take a perfectly sane person and you put him into a mental institution and he starts going, I'm not crazy. They're going to say, well, that's exactly what a crazy person would say.
Yeah.
Once you're accused of something, if they put the burden on you to prove the negative, it's very difficult, very costly, and you shouldn't do that to someone's rights.
Yeah, it's very difficult to prove a negative.
Yeah. That's
Or disprove. I
can't
know what the
usually
term
do that.
is, but yeah.
Okay. Thanks for the food for thought.
But mainly,
how are you voting, comics?
It's the immigration.
I'm voting for
stuff is way
Cornyn,
worse.
hands down.
For
Not
Cornyn?
Cornyn. Sorry, no, the other guy. Paxton. Thank you.
I was like, oh man, I'm
No, I'm not voting for Cornyn. I'm voting for Paxton. He's done a lot of good shit. Sorry, my bad.
I mean, yeah, I'll be happy with that. I think Paxton has a better shot against what's his face, Tallarico. And Paxton's very base. Like I like him.
He's done a lot of great shit for Texas.
Yeah, he has. He really has. I agree. So clean up your personal life, dude.
I mean, I don't know. I don't really care anymore. Clinton ended personal issues. I mean,
yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of hard to care.
Not to mention
after Clinton.
So here's how you can get into that one, Carrie. And this is where if you want to make peace with it from a voter perspective, and this is where take the 1996 election for president. You had Bill Clinton on one side, and you had Bob Dole on the other. Bob Dole is
nobody eats Bob Dole's peanut butter.
Yeah, and Bob Dole. Yeah, I know when he was doing the Real World Saturday Night Live sketch with, but Bob Dole was probably the most strong, one of the strongest character people to ever run for president, and Bill Clinton obviously was not. And then we saw what happened after the election. People don't care about so I'm if the voters writ large aren't going to make that an issue, I'm not going to Bob Dole jumped on a grenade.
But Clinton was awful.
Yeah, he was awful from a character standpoint, but people if you still go back and poll, people are very satisfied with what he did as president. Now because they don't look at the fact that he was the one who sold out to China and did a lot of the things that 20 years later helped destroy the economy for the manufacturing and all the rest in America. But because there's a separation from that. But yeah, I mean, if you could go even further back, they lionized JFK. To keep going to the Kennedy family, Edward Kennedy murdered a woman.
I know.
And then they reelected him. And then he was out partying with his nephew or grandson, and they were casually Brahmin girls during spring break. There's a famous story of him and Chris Dodd, the senator from, I think, Connecticut or whatever state he was from, basically bending over a waitress in the Senate cafeteria and smacking her and doing things and in front of everybody, and nobody did anything.
Wow.
You can look that one up.
Here.
And Ted Kennedy was the one doing that?
Yeah, Ted Kennedy and Chris Dodd.
My issue though is that just because we don't see a lot of honorable men anymore in political office doesn't mean that they don't exist. However, the fact that, and so when they do exist, I like to vote for them. But at the end of the day, as I said, you're voting with the choices that you have. You're trying to make the best choice you can with the choices you have, and you're not voting for your priest or your husband. Like, you're voting for a politician. You're voting for a representative, and you have limited choices. So, but it doesn't mean I'm giving up on, I want there to be honorable men who run. I don't want it to be a given that's like, oh, this always happens. Look at JFK. It's just the way it is.
So
it's not the way it is.
I think there are a lot. I mean, because look at how many members of Congress there actually are, and look at your state, look at your local. It's typically the ones that are constantly chasing fame and being on TV and doing all of the news hits are the ones that we find out are the problems.
Honorable
There's
men,
a lot
Eric,
of them that are just quiet and vote and do their thing.
That's not true.
You just don't see all of them.
Say something to the chat, Eric, because look. As a man, you have the wrong. I really think you have the wrong idea. Honorable men do not give women the ick. They do not. My husband's an honorable man. I think all the men. I mean, I don't know every detail of everyone's life, but I think everyone here is an honorable man. It's not. There's nothing. It's not ick. Do women do a lot? Are there a lot of sociopathic people in this society? Yes. Men and women, yes. Are sociopathic women attracted to sociopathic men? Yes. I think
you don't have to answer, but when you were in the leftist cult,
yeah,
did you like the bad boy over the nice guy or not?
No.
Okay.
I mean,
I was just curious.
No. Okay. When you watched Lost, were you for Jack or Sawyer? I was always for Jack.
Sawyer.
The good guy. No.
Sawyer was the good guy. Jack was a dick.
How dare you?
Sawyer was honorable and respectful, and he ended up with a woman who actually treated him right, and that was good.
Jack was just.
Jack was a terrible human being. Jack was a terrible human being. But here you go. By the way, this is what I was saying. This is how widely known it was. This was a newspaper article when Biden. Look at this. Like, that story. It's not just a made up thing. It's like it's like a well known event. Both of them served in the Senate for decades after the incident. Obama eulogized Ted Kennedy and them, when he passed away. Like this. No one on the Democrat side, there's absolutely no compunction about character, so we should not make it an issue on our side. We need people who are effective at governing. And like you were saying, you love what Paxton did as Attorney General. He was racking up all these W's, but you were feeling a little upset about his personal life. I'm not going to, if he's giving the W's.
I know a lot of Christians in Texas that are feeling the exact same way.
Yeah, so for me, I look at it like King David. King David, terrible, terrible person, but he advanced the agenda that needed to be done.
And
So-
he
And the
was very
direct lineage
repentant.
of Christ.
Yeah, he was very remorseful also. But yeah, I mean, I hear you. Like I said, I mean, I might even end up voting for him.
We're not telling you who to vote for, though.
I'm leaving. I really do have to go. I made a
Yeah,
soup.
I know you
My
only
husband's
had an
waiting.
hour, and you've given us an hour 22.
That was fun hanging out with you guys. Thank you.
We've got one
Thanks
super
for
chat
hanging
that
out,
addresses
Carrie.
you.
Take
so
care,
let me grab
Carrie.
it. Deadman for $4.99 says, Carrie, Thank you for being,
Being
a friend.
Travel down the road and back again. Okay, I'll see you guys later.
Have a good one.
Bye.
I don't
bye,
understand
Kate.
the obsession with the Golden Girls, but whatever.
You're not
Because
a
Betty
lead.
White is hilarious.
Thank you so much.
That one was kind of fitting for thank you for being a friend.
Yeah, I get it. Do we want to talk about the biggest uncovered policy win that the Trump administration dropped last week?
Go for it.
That would be if you've got an H-1B visa and you're applying for a green card, you need to get the fuck out and apply from your home country. And the waiting list is like 10 years long because that's actually been the rule that they've waived for a long time. So if you and your whole family that you brought with you has to go, and now all of the specific regional H-1B1 visa holders that Comics knows which region of the world I'm talking about are very upset because they're not going to be able to get their jobs and they might have to go back to that certain
For
peninsula
those
country.
from India,
it's
it
gonna
could
say-
be 20 to 30 years before
yep.
they get.
You ruined my joke. I was going to say, is it
No.
China? No one gets India.
All right. By the way, this is I'm not always the biggest fan of Cernovich and what he says, but sometimes he makes points that I agree with that I want to share. And this was a good one. All the tech bros are telling you we need to spend all this money on AI data centers and get all these H-1B visa workers right in here to do these jobs because they're the tech companies are the ones getting those jobs applied for by H-1B visa holders. If we're in a war with China over AI, why isn't China raiding India for their engineers?
Because
'Cause
most
they're
of the
not.
people from India have fake made-up university degrees
Correct.
from fake universities.
Correct, which is what I'm saying. Like, I think they're
We've discussed this.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know, and it's a good point that should
And it's
be
one
made.
that I don't think most people know.
Yeah.
I mean, they just think, oh, well, we're getting all these, these people into tech, so they must be smart.
It is
No.
in terms of the jobs.
They're not
again,
sending the best.
Well, they're also, and maybe comics can speak to seeing this in the real world. There is a repeating pattern where somebody of Indian descent gets into a workplace and gets into a leadership role and then starts padding the company with people of Indian descent, and then it grows exponentially. And now Google, I believe, CEO is of Indian descent. Microsoft CEO of Indian descent. Like they all take
YouTube?
YouTube. Well, Google is YouTube.
Well, I know, but YouTube directly too.
So, and this is I mean, comics. Have you seen that pattern in the real world too, or am I just seeing it from the outside?
No, I mean, okay, have I personally witnessed it? No, I have not. Doesn't mean I haven't seen it from the outside.
It also depends on the size of the business or corporation you would
Right.
work for, whether they would be doing the H-1B thing versus like a smaller business or a smaller corporation probably isn't going to go to those lengths.
Am I shocked that an Indian CEO will go and hire more Indians as a result? No. But I have not personally witnessed it. I did work for a company that did hire an Indian CEO, and he did not last long. So, but that was he left after I got laid off. That was basically my previous job. So,
Yep. So,
But
I think
there are
this
some
is-
people
yeah.
completely up in arms about this happening.
Immigration
and
lawyers
it's
and-
hilarious because no news is covering this. I haven't seen it anywhere except
it's
for on Twitter.
It's a big deal. I know it was
It's
on
a huge
CNBC.
deal.
This is the craziest. All right, I'm going to share. This is the headline CNBC wrote up for this story, and it actually it pissed me off and made me genuinely mad. This is their headline. It's not. They're not.
It's not an American dream if you're not an American.
the American dream is collapsing. Okay.
For international
for
students.
students.
Yeah.
And their story is about, and this is the international student, Oh no, she got a master's degree in 2025 in finance, and now because of this, she's not going to be able to stay and take an American job.
Well, you know what? You got pretty lucky to be able to come here and get a master's degree. Why don't you go back where you're from and put that degree to use? Maybe you can make the country that you came from better rather than being a drain on ours.
Here's it. Yeah, if she doesn't, here you go. She earned her master's degree in financial management from Boston University in May 2025. She has 2 months left on her current work authorization. If she doesn't get a job within that time, she'll have to move back to her native India. Now, they're making it sound like that would be a punishment for some reason. I thought we're not allowed to say what we know about third world countries.
Yes,
what are you trying to say
India
there, Chad?
thinks so highly of America.
I think.
Are you trying to say that those third world countries might be shitholes?
You said it. People are saying it. I didn't say it, but
Everybody
other
knows
people,
it.
Everybody knows it. It's like, why can't they go back to Haiti? It is a great subtle change in immigration policy that immediately will help the job market, by the way, because if these people are not available to and they have to go back to get their green card, a lot of the American companies that have been offshoring the jobs to save money will in turn actually have to hire Americans again.
Is he still doing the Trump pass? Where it was like some exorbitant, ridiculous
$5 million and you can get one. Yeah, the Trump card.
Yeah.
Nicki Minaj got one.
Did she?
Yeah.
I just haven't heard a lot about it.
She's from Trinidad and Tobago, I think.
Yeah.
Nope. Oil prices are dropping. Good for us.
Weren't people on the other side complaining that she's like an illegal or something like that?
Well, it was never an issue until she came out as a supporter of Trump. Yeah. I did think it was funny when some people started posting that Elon's about to have his first black baby because Nicki Minaj was at SpaceX watching the launch with him.
No. That man's going to single-handedly repopulate the Earth.
No,
he's trying.
Just joking.
Eric, no, Carrie actually had to go for, and had been trying to leave for a few minutes.
She had said that Anthony was gone all week, so she was, he got back right as the show started. So she had said she only had about an hour, and we actually kept her about an hour 20. So I was expecting that she would have probably said something a little bit earlier, but we thank her for being here.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for being a friend.
Well, I mean, she did a whole show on the Massey thing on Friday, I believe it was. And was it Friday? Yeah, last Friday, I think. But she brought a lot to the conversation because she looked into a whole bunch of stuff after we made the call. And, we were right. She was a little bit surprised when we said it, but because Chad said it, and then I said, yep, that's how the trend looks. So, but we're glad she comes to hang out. So I'm still not quite done with the influencer side of things.
Yeah.
I've got a couple clips that I want to play, specifically of people that have really upset me because I used to like all of these people. So let me pull this one up, and then I've got a clip that will be going viral overnight and tomorrow, I think. So you guys will be ahead of the curve because we try to do that every now and then. But this is just a side-by-side of Meghan and Tucker doing what they do now, because I'm pretty much done with showing anything from Candace because now she's having Hunter Biden on her freaking show.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, I remember saying that.
And Hunter Biden's like, Candace, if I'm ever killed, I hope that I have friends like you that will question everything.
Oh, my God.
Only if she finds him attractive and is upset that she didn't marry her.
Right.
Allegedly.
So here's a few side by sides. MAGA's dead. Megyn Kelly and Tucker say so.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And
That's,
the
that's
Hodge
the biggest
twins.
thing I'm having a
I
tough
did
time
like them for a
grasping
bit.
is how does this happen now?
The Hodge
And
twins
to
A/B
probably,
test
I
their
would
messages
say-
too. You can see.
I know
they'll say
Facebook
one
is
thing on
completely
Facebook
different than Twitter.
versus Twitter.
Yep.
Because they're just doing it for the market that they're wanting to appeal to.
And I'm pretty sure Crowder has kicked them to the curb. Which Crowder, like him or hate him, he's been pretty level throughout this whole thing for one of the bigger guys, right?
One of the most important men in the Republican Party's history. I mean, when he died, I feel that America First died with Charlie that day.
This makes me want to Will Smith the Hodge twins. Keep Charlie's name out your effing mouth. You guys have been going after the widow just as much as Candace has.
I know what you mean. I think actually, like in retrospect, it was MAGA that died.
Yeah.
You know, because I think America First is still there. I think we're living
Or
it. Like, there are many of us who still feel it. And
Megan's a cunt.
Megan's going for clicks.
Yeah, she's always been one.
That's pretty much been shown at this point.
Yeah, I couldn't resist it.
She was getting on the right track there for a while. I
grifting.
enjoyed her show.
Because that was how she was grifting. That was her maximum grift potential at that time.
I know.
Now
like I told Carrie earlier tonight. Carrie was onto her long before I was. But yeah, major
are
disappointment.
living it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a principle that's being shared by everybody. But, you know, Trump has now defined MAGA to be you support Mark Levin or you don't.
So on one level, this...
At no point have I heard him say anything about Mark Levin being somebody you must support.
By the way, Mark Levin is the using that horseshoe theory. He's the grifter all the way to the other side where he'll swing wildly. And as soon as Trump now was negotiating the deal with Iran, hopefully theoretically for it to be over, he's going nuts now that this is going to be the Obama administration all over again. And
right. Mark Levin is what people think Ben Shapiro actually is.
Yeah. So
and Ben's not where Mark Levin is, although Ben does have some split allegiances. I still believe that Ben Shapiro's allegiance is still to the U.S. first. Israel very close second, but that's to be expected.
I do not. Here's another thing.
Mark's a little bit crazy on it.
Here's where I'm gonna be honest. If I do not begrudge anyone of Jewish descent from feeling very strongly and proactively about defending Israel, not because they wouldn't be American, but because from a generational historical standpoint, there has not been a generation to go past since time in memoriam where somebody hasn't been trying to kill the fucking Jews. Like it's crazy. Like it goes back. I mean,
that's what's so weird about this. I mean, I was talking with Carrie earlier in DMs early this morning. We were just kind of talking about the whole situation, and it's like 9/11. We all said never forget.
And everyone forgot.
Obviously, everybody in New York forgot because we've got freaking Mom Donnie. Same thing with the Holocaust. Everybody's like, never forget, never forget. And then we've got seemingly, 20-30% of the country is what it feels like, is just like the Jews, the Jews, the Jews. It's like, you guys...
Everything old is new again.
I know. But I mean, it's like, the whole never forget thing turning into we're going to do exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing.
You guys
it's starting to feel pretty dirty in this country right now.
It rhymes. Brahma.
Did you
I know.
You guys have both, I know Brahma's read Dan Simmons, famous science fiction author,
Hyperion.
But he also did Olympus and Ilium, the series where it's on
Yeah,
Mars.
I haven't read those.
They're great. All right, and if you read his foreword, I'm going to do spoilers, but it's going to be, if you don't read the story, you'll eventually. He was like, when he was talking about coming up with the premise, He was like, look, I wanted to do a story about the far future and all this stuff going on. What is it that I think of that would be happening in the far future? Oh yeah, someone's still going to be trying to kill Jews. So he was using like he's going to use like a technological science fiction standpoint for it, but his point was like if you go back to like the beginning of time for them, their people have constantly been attacked. So I have no problem with someone of Jewish descent feeling like wanting to support a very strong Israel because it makes sense to me. Now, on the other hand, I do think if you're American, you also need to be America first, and then you can support Israel when it, either completely separate or when it engages and helps America if it is supposed to. I don't ever think you should put Israel above your home team. Like if it'd be like having a favorite team and having a backup team, right? Like in terms of foreign policy, America's got to be your home primary team that you're rooting for, and you're not going to support someone else over them.
Yep.
Yeah. So these grifters, one side or the other, they're selling out to whoever's paying them. And Tucker, I mean, allegedly, possibly Qatari money. I mean, the absolute swing of him on Islam has been ridiculous.
Oh, it was like within a 2-month span.
It's
completely
like
180.
Night and day. I mean, I know Eric's talking about Tucker going anti-Trump far right is to play into the overlooked voter that feels abandoned by Trump. I think there's something more nefarious. I mean, you don't start peppering in about how Islam is such a great religion.
He's going to convert to freaking Islam within the next few months.
I really like the carpets.
You really like the carpets? Is that what he said?
No, I was making a joke.
I mean, I'm not surprised.
And keep in mind, during the election, I went to the Tucker rally for Trump. I liked Tucker. He's always seemed like, at least when he was on TV, on Fox and stuff, he seemed like somebody who was asking the right questions. Now his questions seem absolutely freaking crazy. And jumping on board with the Nick Fuentes train and all that kind of stuff between these two, and a whole bunch of others. No. But let's finish the clip.
This is the saddest moment in a long time. It's not just the death of Thomas Massey's immediate political career, which may be resurrected, one never knows. It's obviously the death of MAGA, whatever that was. But it's also, of course, the end of the Republican Party as we thought we knew it.
Whatever that was, you're pretending to not know what MAGA was. It's been 10 years. And whatever that was.
The Republican Party of right now bears absolutely no resemblance to the Republican Party we thought we had just elected less than a year and a half ago. None at all.
Do you know why it doesn't resemble what we thought we were electing? Or it doesn't resemble the Republican Party because the Republican Party is dead. Right now, we're at the point where Trump endorsed 37 candidates to primary people, and Trump got 37 of them to go through the primary. That's the last count I remember seeing, is 37 out of 37 that he endorsed went through. We have wrestled away control from the rhinos, for the most part, to turn into something that might actually do something. Because Trump, regardless of what you think about a lot of things about him, he's at least doing things and trying to do things. He's doing things that other presidents on both sides would not do. Like Iran, which we will talk about coming up.
Oh, its parties are completely different. Its slogans are completely different. It is not the same thing. And maybe there's a working majority somewhere of people who support the new priorities of the Republican Party, but the question would be, where is that?
So I think with him having a home in Qatar, from what I have heard, it's probably he's not allowed to speak out against Islam because there would be a major problem with him owning a home in an Islamist nation.
Yeah.
So-
Oh, gee. I mean, what would the problem be, Brahma?
You're not allowed to speak out against Sharia.
Yeah.
But I find the whole thing disingenuous. And it sucks that the people I looked up to and watched and listened to every day have now turned into this. At least Rush never did this to me. And somebody had said, you know, in the chat that they could not, crap on Levin. Levin, I've read most of his books. I do agree with Levin on quite a bit. And he did help form a lot of my thoughts. But at the same time, there are some things where people can be completely wrong on it, or at least I think that they're completely wrong on it. I don't agree with Ben Shapiro. None of us agree with everybody 100% of the time.
No.
Right? I mean,
Not in the slightest.
that's not a thing. So, I mean, I'm not saying Levin's a bad guy. I'm saying I don't agree with him on a lot of his takes on what's been going on, in the last year and a half. But there are some people that I have now got really no agreement with, and that's the ones that have jumped on this train. The whole Israel thing. I can't get on board that.
I think it's ridiculous. Like these, how do I put it? You see, you grow up and you go and you learn. At least when we were growing up in the 80s and 90s and going to school, it was not a controversial thing. You learned about the Holocaust. You learned about World War II. You learned about these things, and it's not made up.
And we had the actual threat of communism.
Yeah, we had communism.
We
know
lived
what
through
communists did.
the Soviets.
We lived through the potential for a nuclear apocalypse.
Right. Coming from the Soviets. I mean, we were doing stupid things at school where, you're
Duck and
hiding
cover.
under your desk to hide from a nuclear disaster. And tornadoes.
Well, the desk, we all know protects you from radiation and fallout.
Well, a refrigerator definitely does. I don't know about the desk. Sorry.
Only
we
if it's
interrupted.
lead
No,
lined.
I know exactly
Only
what
if
you're
it's
talking
lead
about.
lined.
Yeah.
I'm like, is that real?
There's only 3 Indiana Jones movies.
I know.
They're raping Indy. They're raping. But the Last Crusade is like the most perfect Indian. That's my favorite one.
My favorite by far.
Yeah,
a lot
I
of people
think-
say Raiders, but Last Crusade is
Last
by
Crusade
far
is
the best.
by far the best. It's not to me. It's not even. Close.
What are you, communist? I'm kidding.
It's got the best action scenes. It's the most competently directed. Like, I mean, I know Steven Spielberg, but Last Crusade is actually, in terms of directing and where you're doing things with the camera, it's much better than what he was doing. With the effects are much better. Ilsa, and that storyline is great.
Marcus, the whole line about Marcus,
He can blend in. He
can
speaks
blend
dozen
in anywhere.
languages. Oh, release the McCracken made the meme. Do you want to see it?
Sure, if you've got it.
I've got it.
I also, the whole line about his name.
His
name's Junior.
We called it Indiana.
We
That
named
was
the dog Indiana.
We named the dog Indiana.
The dog.
Named after the dog.
Yeah, and John Rhys Davis as Sala. I mean, it's great. Great stuff.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. This is. Look at it. The work gets done quickly. Let me make sure the volumes. All right, here you go.
Thank you for being a friend and the super chat. All right, enough of this. The next super chat gets boobies. Thank you for being a friend and the super chat. All
Nice.
right, enough of this. The next super chat gets boobies.
That actually is pretty good. So, we have the best chat doing the work. Thank you. In Temple of Doom, all 3 heroes are named after dogs. Short Round isn't named after a dog.
Who's? Oh, the chick. What's her name?
Her name is
Annoying as hell, screaming.
Her name is Kate Capshaw in real life, and she's the
Right.
one that Steven Spielberg left his wife to marry.
Right.
So,
okay.
by the way, the two most expensive divorces in Hollywood history were
George Lucas and Steven Spielberg.
Were George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, and then I think Harrison Ford also, his wife, when she divorced, because she was the writer of E.T., I think. And so she was, and she took some money. There's
Willie
a lot of
was
Willie. Yeah.
Willie, that's right, Willie.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think
Stuff to watch. Got it.
But Short Round is not a dog's name.
Yeah, there is a saying: "Short Round is named after a dog."
Who named their dog Short Round?
Maybe Spielberg.
That's a
I don't know.
weird. That's a weird one.
So here's the clip I think will be going viral over the weekend and tomorrow. This is Glenn Greenwald, who is one of the people that is still all over Megyn Kelly's channel, because he is one of them that has not disagreed with what she has been saying.
Well, there's a certain group of people that he really hates that, wears little hats on their head.
Yes, and this is one of the Jubilee surrounded, and he immediately gets proven wrong by just a random
President Trump
supporter.
is subservient to the Israel lobby.
Whoa. Hey, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Look at that one. They were all like, we're going to wreck him on
to
this
do
one.
with debates is to define our terms. Can you please tell me what subservient is?
Yes, serving the interest of someone else, taking orders from somebody else, taking direction from somebody else, not in every case, but as a general posture ethos.
Okay, so that's already a problem, because subservient doesn't mean not sometimes taking the case, sometimes not. Subservience literally defined as in a subordinate manner you are controlled by in a very direct way.
You want to
Also, I'm sure Jubilee is going to claim us on this, so I'm going to pause and at least make it somewhat transformative, because I've heard of people who have been on the channel Jubilee as the main guest getting claimed for playing clips from their own appearance.
Oh, jeez.
So I'm sure this one is going to nuke the stream, but I'll edit it out tomorrow.
set it up so that if you can point to one example where President Trump didn't do what Israel wanted, then that means somehow he's not subservient to Israel. That's,
Sure, right
you're
now.
just want to creating a binary framework where.
So, just in the interest of not getting fully nuked, you've got the idea. The guy's basically saying, yeah, subservient means that you are, controlled by, and gives the actual definition. And Greenwald's like, so your argument is going to be that you can point out the times that Trump has not been subservient to Israel, and that's going to make it to where I can't say he's subservient. And the guy's like,
yeah,
because your claim that you are making is that he is subservient to Israel. So Greenwald gets completely shut down in 1 minute and 15 seconds by a rando guy that's at Jubilee. And he has to back off his claim completely because on its face, he had already ruined the claim. Also, Dave Rubin is going to be on he just filmed a Jubilee surrounded, I think about a week ago, so that should be coming out too. But I think you guys will see this clip making the rounds over the next few days. So trying to give you something that is ahead of the curve.
Yep. The Jubilee format is a little crazy. I'm not the biggest fan of it, it seems.
It depends on who's on it as to whether I'll pay attention at all. I thought the Charlie Kirk one was fantastic. I've watched quite a few. Carrie's been on Jubilee streams. She was actually on one with a whole bunch of
was leftists,
trans people, I believe.
Oh yeah, that was the one.
Yeah, the one that Kiwi Farms ended up taking down for mailing stuff to kids who wanted to be trans. the hormones or hormone blockers.
Wait, Kiwi Farms was doing that?
No, they called out one of the people that was on the stream.
Gotcha. Yeah,
blonde, really short hair. I can't remember the name, but Chad, what are your actual thoughts on Pratt's chances?
I don't think he wins.
I don't think so. I think he may get through the primary.
He's going to get through the primary. I think they are the city councilwoman. She did a stupid thing where she said she wanted to ban backyard barbecues in LA.
Right.
And the Latino vote's not a fan. So they'll go with Karen Bass because she wants to stop ICE. So she'll, take care of that. I think Pratt does better than any Republican has in a long time. I think he pulls 40 to 45% in the final general election number, but he doesn't win.
I don't think he wins the general either. I think what we're seeing, and this is kind of why I'm bringing it up, I'm curious, is a gigantic social media, campaign that is as strong as this one. Does it actually translate to votes? Because he's national news, at least amongst all the, conservative stuff, through Twitter and all that kind of stuff. But it's still California. So I don't think it really moves the needle all that much in California because California is California.
The difference in this case...
I think his campaign has been interesting in that it has, captured national virality.
He's also captured a lot of traditional Democratic fundraisers in LA. Specifically because this is where people need to take get the Trump out their mouth kind of situation. This is not in anything like Spencer Pratt is not a MAGA Republican. He is
he's a classic liberal.
He would probably be a slightly left of center Democrat from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
The reason he's running as Republican is because, and he's talked about this, when he needed to get a concealed carry permit to protect himself because he was cast as a reality show villain.
Right.
The Republicans were the only ones that cared about his safety, and so he's a California Republican. He's the same way Susan Collins is a Maine Republican. Like there's certain areas where your Republican mileage will vary. If he was in Texas, he would not be a Republican.
Yeah, the whole joke is a Republican in California is a Democrat in Texas.
Now, that being said, in this specific case, Karen Bass and Spencer Pratt are in a unique personal vendetta campaign where the reason Pratt is going to be as successful as he is, it's not just his house.
Well, it's everybody in.
It's everybody who in that area. So this is a confluence of events. Anybody who has means can look at LA and see that it's going to shit.
Right.
So that's why Pratt is getting people running fundraisers that are traditionally Democrats. They're earning money. He's David Foster, as an example. People might know him as a billionaire from music. He's married to Catherine McPhee from American Idol and acting fame. He's his ex-wife was on Real Housewives. He's a Democrat fundraiser. They had Spencer Pratt in their house to raise money because they are personally affected by the Pacific Palisades and all the other stuff. And so all these people are personally, it's the old thing, they are personally pissed off that they can't rebuild their houses, that they're now going to get zoned out of their property to make low-income housing.
Low-income housing. Yeah.
So this is a vendetta
after
campaign.
Newsom and Bass swore.
We're
gonna streamline the process. You're gonna be able to build your house in months.
We all knew that was a fucking lie.
Oh yeah. Have you seen his new campaign that he's doing, Chad? With the streets?
Oh, what is he doing now?
So he's taking a stencil to the streets in LA and power washing through all of the grime on the streets. Imagine the streets were this clean.
this is the kind of thing that is. This is one of those things where he's basically going to be John the Baptist. He is using AI tools and social media in a way that hasn't been done before.
Right.
And he is not going to win the campaign for himself, but he is going to
He
pave
is not the
the
coming
way.
of the Messiah.
But he's paving the way for the people to see, and I think California, this is why I was talking about the redistrict thing. California isn't a state that's beyond redemption. The problem is California Republicans are genuinely not motivated to vote, and the ballot harvesting operation there is a big problem, which is why the SAVE Act is 100% one of the most vital things we could pass, because one of the reasons California is beyond competition is because of, regardless, they're going to harvest ballots and just pump the numbers because it's mail-in voting, and they'll allow it to come in for weeks.
Same as Colorado.
Now, on the other hand,
everybody.
The Supreme Court is about to shut that down. They haven't announced that case yet, but I'm pretty sure they are going to come down with a definitive ruling that election day ends on election day. And if your vote's not in election day, it doesn't count.
Right. During the arguments, they were very clearly indicating that, we can't have things that are coming in 3 or 4 days later getting counted. So I expect that to be the ruling as well. I think we talked about that when they were doing the arguments.
Mm-hmm.
So the last main topic I would like to touch on is Iran and the deal, since it's back in the news.
Real quick before we do that, I just want to show you, because I saw that this has popped up on my feed, and it has a projected cost of around $1 billion, and I think the right-wing billionaires need to get on this. This would
Lewis
be
and Clark?
Lewis and Clark on the Mississippi. What do you think, comics? Long have I wanted to see my forefathers.
I think that would be fucking brilliant. And it would piss a lot of people off,
How
wouldn't
awesome
it?
would that be? And then maybe on the side you can put Sacagawea.
No.
But just like Lewis and Clark at the Mississippi for the Louisiana Purchase and what it represented when they went out and did it. How great would that be? That's what we should be doing.
That looks pretty neat.
I mean, they have like the plans for showing how to build it out into the mountains and everything. They're projected it would probably cost about $1 billion. I'm like, I think we have some billionaires who should swing that. That's the kind of stuff where, as Eric's saying, the right hates art. They just don't invest in it, and it's stupid. The left is much better about recognizing that those are investments in winning the culture.
Right, but at the same time, I don't see a whole bunch of the left being the ones complaining about how everything just has the modern look. I see a whole bunch of people on our side doing it, like the old Pizza Hut design. The old McDonald's design with the play place. Now we just get square gray buildings with dark glass.
You get the Obama Presidential Library.
Yes.
By the way, I can't wait to see
especially
what
in
Trump's looking
architecture.
like.
I don't think that the right is against it in the same way that we might be against frivolous modern art where you tape a freaking banana to a wall. Or you're Hunter Biden and you make, a few $1 million off of not having any talent and making some paintings because of your dad.
You mean you just can't smear feces on a canvas and call it art?
Right.
Okay.
Yep. But yeah, I hate the design of every building. Like where I live. All we get is freaking car washes going up everywhere, storage centers that are just cubes, and even like the McDonald's is just a cube now. I don't even know if they're putting seating into the new McDonald's that they're putting.
They're taking out the self-serve drink stations, those effers.
What's the problem with cubes? Are you a cubist there, Brahma?
I don't like that
it's
just a gray cube everywhere you look.
He goes into places where they have Minecraft shit and he just goes nuts. He's like,
he
fuck
loses
you
it.
with your cube.
Really you and your goddamn blocks. Flipping tables.
Yep.
So they're actually removing. Did they actually McDonald's actually have a self-serve drink fountain, soda fountain?
Yeah, they're getting rid of them by
Really?
2030.
Why?
Well, a few reasons: to control costs, and because a lot of homeless people will just go in and fill up cups with whatever at any time that they want to, because nobody's capable of stopping them, because you're not allowed to do anything. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, I don't know that it matters, because I don't know that anybody goes and sits at a McDonald's anymore. I never see anybody in any fast food restaurants anymore. People typically order on their phone, pick it up, take it home, or eat in their car. I don't see a lot of people going in and sitting.
I mean, occasionally with my job, when I'm out, I'll have to go and get food, and typically I go to Whataburger because Whataburger is great. But there's usually tons of people in Whataburger. I really can't say for
Whataburger's a
McDonald's.
weird case in Texas because it's always been a hangout place.
Yeah.
Like, especially like in certain size cities like Waxahachie, everybody was at the Whataburger every single night. If you were, teenage, high school, that kind of thing.
Oh, I mean, this is just like during the day, during lunch and whatnot.
Sure.
Whataburger always has people inside. I can't say for McDonald's because I just hit the drive-thru for McDonald's, and I usually just get breakfast and try to avoid getting lunch there.
Yeah. I mean, who just said that? Yeah, Mr. Drow said low trust society stuff.
Yeah.
People used to be on the honor system. If you ordered a water, you went over to the self-serve and you got yourself water.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a form of theft.
Gee, I wonder why we're become such a low trust society.
Interesting. So,
And countries like Japan are such a high trust society.
Copied wants to know, do we have any info on the shooter at the White House?
Wait, what?
He was a batshit crazy guy known to the Secret Service.
He'd already tried to get onto the White House grounds multiple times within the past few months. He pulled a handgun outside of one of the gates on the west side, fired 3 shots, and about 27 of them went back at him. He was hit. A bystander was hit. I don't know a lot of information about the person himself. I haven't seen a whole lot released yet. I haven't even seen a name, personally.
Wow.
You didn't know about
No. I didn't hear about
another attempt yesterday?
No.
Yeah, the White House had to go into lockdown because somebody just opened fire. There were a whole bunch of reporters there at the time, and they were all pushed into the press room, but there was a lot of recordings with the sound of the gunfire, but it was about 30 shots fired, it sounded like, but most of those were going back from Secret Service at the dude.
That's fucking insane, man.
So that's like attempt number 4 or 5 or 6.
But it's all
can
fake.
you guys stop trying to shoot the president every freaking week? And then there's still all the talk of, we're not raising the temperature at all. It's like, no, that's all you guys do. You call him a Nazi. You call all of us Nazis. You call us fascists. Ivanka didn't have an attempt necessarily. They arrested the guy. He's an Iraqi, supposedly hired by the Iranians to kill Ivanka. And he was arrested in Hungary, I believe. So he wasn't even over here, but he had maps and blueprints of Ivanka's house. And basically it said, Trump ruined our home, so we're going to ruin his.
Wow.
Which almost immediately after that story came out is when Trump changed all of his plans this week. And instead of going to New Jersey, flew back to DC, called everybody else back in except for Rubio, and started the hunkering down. So this was Friday morning that he did that, which I thought a little bit more was going to happen this weekend. Still could, I guess, but I mean, that does kind of take us into the Iran talk.
Yeah, I think that Trump had believed they were going to have the Iran deal to announce.
Right. And the stupid thing is, there is so much, like the AP, and I don't think it was the New York Times, I think it was the Post, is sitting there saying, well, he's going to let them keep the nuclear material. We're paying $25 billion to open the strait, and they will be able to do tolls in the strait. And even the administration finally had to come out. Rubio and JD Vance, a few others, were just like, what the hell are you talking about? At no point, I mean, none of us know the deal. Nobody outside of the White House at this point knows the deal, really, as far as like reporters and even congressmen and senators who keep opening their mouths saying crap about it. It's definitely not going to include letting them keep the nuclear material. And it's not going to leave Iran in charge of the Strait of Hormuz. So at this point, I'm getting pissed because the media here will do everything they can to undermine Trump. And at the same time, it is now undermining our military and just the U.S. in general. It's like they want Iran to win. Also, what the hell just went on with my lighting? The lights didn't change, but the screen did. So I don't know. What do you guys? He's not going to let them keep nuclear material. That is outrageous to even pretend to claim it.
So the administration on their side has been, and the leaks of what they have put in, and this is why I think anyway, the administration is requiring, before anything gets released, before there's sanctions relief and the money gets released, like the quote that we've seen is dust for cash, right? Like, you have to give us, unless you turn in your enriched uranium, you do not get the money. The handover of the uranium is what, or plutonium, whatever fucking material it is. The handover of that material is what triggers
uranium.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, I thought it was uranium.
Yeah, that's what triggers the money coming in.
Plutonium's so 80s, dude.
Yeah, I know. You get those from the Libyans.
Yeah.
Now, on the other hand, the Strait of Hormuz opening up is a tit for tat, where as Iran opens it for commercial traffic, that will cause a reciprocal pullback in the blockade from the U.S. forces. And so as they open free navigation with no tolls, this was another thing, no money, that's what will cause the American blockade to be backed off. And allegedly, this is where I think that where the Iranians, for the sake of the consumption, their internal consumption, doesn't want to admit that they're actually making that deal, because keeping the nuclear material was always their number one priority. But I do believe
Trump's number one priority of not happening.
And I know that, and on the other hand, this is where there's conflict from the Israeli bloc. The Israeli bloc wants full-on regime change. They want the IRGC gone. They want them completely removed from being in power. Trump has always been pragmatic.
They need to do it on their own.
They
need to rise up.
Yeah, and I think this is where Trump here's the thing. Trump has given them...
He signaled that he would do something.
He signaled, but he also gave them 3 months at this point, 3-4 months, that this has been going on, to do it in mass. And they didn't. There were protests, and they were put down. But here's the
protests were generally before everything.
Yeah, and that was before. Down. So that's where Trump said, fine, I'm going to degrade their complete military capability. You are now dealing with a situation where it is small arms, and nobody wants to be upfront about it. There would be loss of life, but if your people rose up en masse, you would overwhelm them with the tools they have to try to stop you.
Right.
But they didn't. So I think
don't
that
know if you saw the video of Trump being talked to by the press. I think it was 2 days ago, or maybe it was yesterday, but they were talking to him about the Iran deal and, well, what does Israel think on this? And he goes, they'll do whatever I tell them to do. What are you talking about? They're not an issue. So, yeah, if you think Trump's being controlled by Israel, he doesn't believe so in any way. I mean, I remember when the ceasefire, when Israel went off afterwards, he screamed at them. I mean, he was furious, and he brought them right back in line. But yeah, I just think our own media, half of the people that are doing the Trump is controlled, and then almost all of the left, you're literally trying to undermine our own military.
Yes.
They act like they want Iran to have a nuke. The line that we keep seeing on Twitter from everybody is, well, before this started, Iran didn't have a nuke and the straits were open. And now you're saying once we get this deal in place, Iran won't have a nuke and the straits will be open. We're at the same place. It's like, no, the difference is they'll never have a freaking nuke. Who wants Iran armed with a nuke? Because a whole bunch of people suddenly seem pretty okay with it because, well, Israel's probably got nukes.
Well, they do have.
I'm
nukes.
sure Israel has nukes.
I don't think
but
that's
Israel
ever been
is
debated.
not trying to bring about Armageddon. I mean, that's what that sect of Islam believes in Iran. We can bring about Armageddon, and that starts the end of the world, and we get to be martyrs and go to heaven with our 72 virgins. So that's a little different than
here's how
even North Korea having a defensive nuke.
North Korea was given their nuke, their initial one, by China. It's kind of well known at this point,
and it's typically just to become neutral on everything.
It's because they to basically fun historical fact: China gets their ass kicked by every other country in Asia anytime they go to war. And they absolutely want to keep Korea separate because
you got this for a minute, Chad?
Yeah. Because Korea as a united country whooped their ass. Japan as united countries whooped their ass. So by making North Korea a client state and keeping North Korea from being invaded and overtaken, it's in their interest. So they gave one. What China and Russia have absolutely not done, because they know that it's absolutely batshit crazy, is give Iran a nuke. Like, because if they really wanted to make sure that no one invaded Iran and mess with things, they would just give them one. Because then once they're a nuclear power, everything changes in terms of the calculus.
And obviously, China's not going to do that for, like I say, obvious reasons. But I think they would realize that it's a really bad idea to give them a nuke.
Yes.
Big time.
Yeah. So the fact that they haven't given Iran one shows you that they don't want.
Well, I mean, they're probably crazy enough to fucking use it. That's the problem.
That's exactly why they won't give them one.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to do that. So with Iran, like, getting that nuclear material and is going to be a priority if and when I think that deal gets done. Because here's the thing, that what people aren't really going over in the blockade is the long-term economic ramifications to Iran without the U.S. actually bombing them. The U.S. has purposefully not attacked any of the oil infrastructure in Iran, because once they reach a deal, they want that to be able to come online super fast to flood the market and then drop the price precipitously. But here's the thing, comics, and I don't know if you being in Texas have seen this. The thing about oil drilling is when you have an active well, you can't just shut it off.
Right.
Right? You have to keep pumping until it goes dry. Because if you shut it down and stop pumping, the fun little thing is when you try to if you try to restart that well, there's a chance, and it's not an insignificant one, and there's a very high chance that it doesn't pump anymore when you try to go back to it.
I was not aware of that. That's interesting.
Yeah, so in Iran, they are running out of time with their oil storage. Like all these pumps have still been active. They can slow down the volume they're trying to pump, but they're still active. So they've been storing, barrels of oil on boats. They've been storing barrels of oil on shore, but they're running out of capacity. This is something I think Brahma, you've seen the stories on where they're talking about storage capacity for Iran's oil pumping, and they are at the point where they're measuring in days how much more oil they could keep pumping and have a place to put it.
Right.
If you're the Iranian regime, Trump wouldn't be blamed for it. He didn't blow up. He's not blowing up your infrastructure. But if you have to shut down those wells because there's nowhere to put the oil, there's a chance where you'd have to re-drill wells to get your oil pumping infrastructure back going again and put in all that money, time, and effort to get it going to where you could do it. So if you need that money, which they absolutely do, this blockade has been just devastating to their economy, because remember, it's not just money that they make going out. Iran doesn't self-sufficiently create a lot of things for themselves. They need supplies coming in from other places to produce what they need.
Remember, when gas was low, Trump refilled the strategic oil supply, and now he's using it for what it's supposed to be used for. He's releasing oil from the strategic oil supply during wartime.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we could have seen gas go up to $8. Would have been devastating probably in the midterms and everything else. It's gone up to what, $4 or $5, depending on where you are.
Yeah.
$8 if you're in freaking California, which they're trying to blame on Trump.
It's funny.
With Chevron, did you see Newsom? I think it was Newsom, basically, or no, I can't remember who said it, but the California government put out a statement that, you shouldn't be buying gas from Chevron because Chevron in other states is at this price and here it's this. And Chevron came back on Twitter and was like, that is because of your California gas tax. That is not a business decision that we make.
So
I love when they get fucking owned by their own policies.
Yeah.
To address a couple points here. So Eric is saying Iran was supposedly measuring in days last month, though, and that undercuts Chad's first point about flooding the oil market. I think this tells you when Iran is at the time it was an estimate. It could be days, it could be weeks, but they're running out of stuff. The fact that they were coming to the table this week to genuinely make the deal tells me that this is when we're actually hitting critical storage limits.
Because remember, what Trump is missing to be doing this negotiation during this weekend specifically, he had to miss Don Jr.'s, I don't know how many weddings it's been, but
this is his second.
His son was getting married this weekend, and he skipped that to go back to the White House.
And for Eric on this point, Trump did not refill. This is Brahma talking about his first administration. He did that in Trump 1 when he restocked the strategic reserve when oil was like $1 a barrel or negative. So,
and then Joe kept releasing a bunch of it when it was at the highest to try to keep it artificially low.
Now, Trump was like, this is your second wedding, Donnie Jr. This is like your Marla Maples. I'm not showing up for that. When you get your Melania, your third and best wife, I'll show up.
And I don't think he was going to the wedding either way, because even before he had gone back to the White House, he was supposed to be in Jersey. I think, I can't remember where the wedding was, but I think it was Costa Rica or something like that. And I think he said, need to be in the U.S., in Washington doing stuff. So, no, it's not to Kimberly Guilfoyle. Guilfoyle is an ambassador right now to like Sweden or something. I can't remember where they sent her.
Greece.
But,
she's Greece.
Greece. Yeah, but Guilfoyle,
Kimberly, you were on Fox
has been
News.
out of the picture for a while.
You were engaged to my son. You get to be an ambassador, but your lips are very large, so I'm sending you to Greece.
She has a very Joker smile.
But let's be honest, Kim. You were married to Gavin Newsom. We can't trust you. We're not giving you a high quality country. We're not giving you a difficult
Really,
one.
he's marrying Gavin Newsom's leftovers?
No, she was.
No, that's
he
who-
was going
that's
to marry her.
Kimberly Guilfoyle was
okay.
Gavin Newsom's first wife. She also used to be on the Five back when the original lineup of the Five on Fox.
Now, the one point where I think Trump I think federalizing oil is an issue. I don't think you need to do that. Now, what he did do is he federalized that refinery in California and basically cut California out of being able to shut down that refinery. But so,
Chobach.
yeah.
Can we get a yeah for Guilfoyle?
No. I don't like her.
She's put together pretty nice.
I mean, sometimes it's not always about the neck down.
I didn't say anything about the neck up. I said she's put together pretty nice. That usually doesn't include the face. But I mean, she's not an ugly woman. She just has a very, very wide smile.
Oh God, yeah, her lips are oof, yeah.
But
I
she's
believe
she's probably loving life as an ambassador, because all you really have to do is host a whole bunch of state parties. When you're like in Greece. So
Did she do like filler on her lips or something?
oh, I'm sure she has.
Because she's got that filler lip look.
Well, if she did it, she's had it for like 20 years.
The DSLs, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do we? Parrot Head sent me something on the shooter. So his name is Nazir Best, 21-year-old from Maryland, and we already gave most of the information. He did get hit with the return fire. I don't think he died. No, he did die at George Washington University Hospital en route. So he has had multiple run-ins with the Secret Service, and he also tried to claim he was Jesus during one incident. So
Okay.
he's a psycho.
Sounds like it, yeah.
But yes, Trump was in the White House at the time, so it did go on to full lockdown.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yes, Clay, probably filler there as well. Lots of filler. I don't really have anything else for the main show. Anything you guys wanted to discuss from the week or predictions?
Let's see. If I bookmarked anything else. Oh, I got one.
Okay.
We've talked a little bit about this race. We've got a nice little Graham Plattner bad decision timeline.
Oh, well, there was also the story about him with the soldier.
Oh yeah, that's on here. It's
okay.
From let's see, 2000. Oh yeah, praise him all. All right.
So to remind everybody, this is the dude with the Nazi tattoo on his chest that the Democrats are trying to.
That guy.
Trying to get elected because,
of course,
they actually love Nazis.
All right. So this is a man, by the way, who's now it's coming up. I'm gonna just minimize it for a second. They're bringing up his bad. So he's made a lot of comments about the wars and things. And when he's being called out for it, because we're going to go over how some of these are really stupid comments that he shouldn't have made as a full-grown adult well past the, age of 18.
And former military himself.
Yeah, he's like, well, I got sent to war by Susan Collins, and he enlisted 2 years after the war
afterwards
started,
so that he could go kill people.
Specifically, and this is in the commentary, he said he enlisted to go kill people.
Well, okay.
All right. So in 2007,
how do you do, I guess?
Yeah, in 2007 in Croatia as a Marine. By the way, Croatia, not Iraq. He got an SS tattoo right on his chest, which he still has. He hasn't covered it up.
No, he changed it.
Oh, did he finally change it?
Yeah, he did it when we were talking about him
this year.
Back when we were talking about Spanberger during that election in November. Yeah.
Yeah. So in 2008,
but it is still another one that can be construed as a Nazi tattoo.
Yep. So he's in 2008 he said that the Marines should have just burned insurgents alive. War crime. DUI right after that in 2011. 2013, this is all, a lot of this comes from Reddit, by the way, comics, because he decided to post a lot on Reddit. He said that women
always a smart move.
Yeah, women shouldn't drink too much if they don't want to get casually brahma'd. That's basically,
I mean, let's be honest, that's kind of based. No, I'm kidding.
And then he followed that comment up with they should just wear Kevlar panties if they don't want to get graped.
Wow.
Then he followed that one up by asking, why is it that black people won't leave tips ever? Then he decided to praise Hamas tactics. That one. Then he talked about canoeing people, which was shooting them until their head splits in two. Made sexually
what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Described himself as a communist.
Nazi.
Called all, went with the ACAB, all cops are bastards. And then this is great, 2018. So this is well past he was in the military. He was just in Maine. Said that, and this he's campaigning in Maine as a real, I'm a real Maine working class guy, right? I'm a oysterman. He said that rural white Americans were just racist and stupid.
I mean, okay, just coming from the guy with the fucking Nazi tattoo. Okay, whatever.
He said that he said the people needed to fight fascism with semi-automatic rifles, go out and shoot people. He said that that's effing, this is in 2025. He was like, well, it's effing retarded. I've never heard that in my life. I don't have a white supremacist tattoo. And then it came up later on and I was like, GD, damn it. Because he realized, oh, it's the symbol of the SS. I guess maybe it was.
He's just that fucking stupid.
He went on a podcast where he started doing Holocaust denial conspiracy theories and said he was like, I'm a big fan of you guys talking about that. So, and this is, all right, so the controversy that broke this week, one of the Reddit comments is it was a video of a infantryman who ran into fire to try to draw fire for the rest of his squad.
Drawing fire to let everybody else get away.
And he said, and this infantryman in the video was like, it was stupid and it was probably the stupidest thing you could have done, but it was the only thing I could think of at that moment to get the rest of my squad out. And Plattner,
so literal hero.
Yeah, so Plattner, and this guy was immediately put in for awards, Purple Hearts, all that stuff. Plattner was like, this dumb son of a bitch should have just been, they should have just killed, he should be dead. This is the
if
kind
only
of guy,
they had better aim.
If only they had better aim. This is a U.S. serviceman, right, in the Army, and he's basically saying, his commentary was, this guy, I want this guy to be dead. Because
he should be an example of how what the stupidest thing you can do is. If only they had better aim, he'd be made an example of what not to do.
And this is why I said,
what a fucking dick.
This is why I told Brahma, when they had in Maine a fairly popular governor in Janet Mills, and this guy ran to her left, and in our primary was sucking up all the oxygen because he was coming at her from the left. And they got Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and all those guys came in to support him. And so Janet Mills dropped out. And so this guy is the nominee. And it is now you can tell the Collins people have had all this opposition research, because I've been watching. There's been guys in the political consultant circles who've said, just you wait. There's so much shit on Plattner. It's going to be all like this. Susan Collins is going to destroy him once they just didn't want to do it while Mills could still swing in and be the nominee. So they waited until he was the only one in so that they could start now destroying him. This, like, his parents bought him this oyster farm. He's not really even doing it. It's a lot like, Fetterman, where his parents bought him stuff, to pose as like, I'm a real working man kind of thing.
Yeah. Salt of the earth.
I'm a real boy.
He's calling the working class people in Maine like retarded and assholes and all this other stuff. This is all going to come out, and Susan Collins is going to destroy him on it. So that's why the Red Queen of the North is going to manage to pull off another victory, and I think it's going to not even be close. I think she pulls it off by like 6+ points. Probably 5-6 is where I'd say is the median for him.
Not 6-7.
Not 6-7, 5-6. But yeah, so this is why I'm very bullish on actually maintaining the Senate. I think Ohio is fool's gold. I don't think Sherrod Brown wins because he's already lost, and he was a known quantity. He was the senator for years. He already lost. They're trying to do that. I think
Michigan.
I think they pick up Michigan because Michigan's a lot like Maine, where they're going to end up running the most batshit crazy leftist out of that primary instead of the moderate people who would manage to pull off winning. They're going to go with a Hamas sympathizing,
I've been saying it for months. I think we will have 54 to 55
I don't
seats
know.
in the Senate.
Yeah, I don't know where they're getting the idea that we are going to lose in Alaska. That's like
there is no map. I mean, if you look at what are considered completely safe seats, we start at 50. In this election cycle, we start at 50 automatically.
I think the biggest risk of a loss for Republicans is North Carolina. But I think Roy Cooper has a lot of baggage with letting out those criminals who ended up killing people, specifically Ileana or whatever.
Elena Zrinska.
Yeah,
I can't
and that's directly tied to Cooper releasing people early. So I think he ends up being either very much more competitive, or Cooper is a popular governor, but so he's the best shot at them picking up. I think there's a chance that Ossoff in Georgia, if you look at the primary elections that just happened, I know that they said
I think Ossoff is the weakest of the Democrat seats.
Here's the interesting thing. You have people like Rich Barris who are like, look at the turnout. The Democrat turnout in Georgia was... But then at the same time, the Republicans won both Supreme Court seats, which were actual statewide elections going on the same day as the primaries. Right. So how does that work?
Remember how Georgia got 2 Democrats? I mean, one was Warnock, and that was the special election or the runoff election after the 2020 presidential election, where Trump kind of stupidly said, it was stolen. So I agree with him, but at the same time, you still could have used those senators or that senator. So I wouldn't have called, I wouldn't have spoken out about Georgia saying there's no point in voting, that kind of stuff. I mean, it didn't help.
Yep.
But Georgia is still completely red.
It's
I
getting
expect it to turn.
I expect Georgia's going to turn blue. Georgia,
eventually.
Georgia is a Virginia where it's gonna happen. It's happening slowly, and then it happens all at once. It's a tipping point of them importing people into Atlanta. Now the question is, if they have a majority in the state government, and the problem has been, Kemp is a rhino du jour and has kept things from getting fixed. If they can put in place genuine reforms like Florida, if they get like the DeSantis, not just DeSantis, but going back to the post Bush v. Gore, where they actually corrected their state elections, Georgia can be protected. But the problem is Kemp has not have any. I mean, look at the guy he had as Secretary of State. Luckily, Raffensperger, who was running for governor, got destroyed.
Who was the Secretary?
Who
of
was
State,
the Secretary of State who helped oversee all of that kind of stuff.
And yes, guys, I understand that Hollywood films a lot of stuff in Atlanta. I don't know how many of the people from Hollywood choose to live in Georgia when they're
Here's
filming.
a fun fact, though.
You
Not
still
as
have
much.
to be a
No,
citizen of the state.
it's collapsing. They're not filming in Georgia anymore. That's why Tyler Perry sold that studio. That's why. I mean, they're going to England for the tax credits because these places can't compete with what England's offering in tax credits. That's why Disney, which had been Marvel used to film all their movies in Georgia, and now they're all filming it in England.
Right.
I mean, Tyler Perry wouldn't have sold that studio that he built if it was making money. If it was doing
And
that.
either way, I just don't think there was a whole bunch of people from Hollywood that were making their primary residence in Georgia, even if there was filming going on in Georgia.
Yeah. So I'm not as worried about that.
We kind of need to get to this super chat.
Yep, let's go ahead.
Important. So, well, not semi-important. It's important. Deeple for $1 says, and Deeple, you didn't need to pay for this. You can always ask for a prayer request. Before the after show begins, my sister-in-law's older sister is facing some really bad cancer. Looking like we're nearing the end. It'd be nice if everybody
God,
could
man,
keep
I'm so
Leslie
sorry.
and the fam in your thoughts and prayers.
Will do, man. That sucks.
Absolutely will do. Also, let Carrie and Michelle and Odin know from the Christian panel. Prayer request. Yeah, so having a Nazi tattoo on your chest is not a disqualification for the
Being a Democrat?
Democrats. Kind of like calling for the
I love how they'll
killing
go
of-
after Hegseth for like his tattoos that had nothing to do with being a Nazi.
Right.
But this guy, he gets a pass. It's fine. He's on our side.
Yeah.
But remember, this guy was around. We started talking about him the same time that we were talking about the dude in Virginia running for AG that literally said he wanted his opponent's kids killed. I mean, so
fucked up. That guy got elected.
Got elected along with Spanberger.
Certainly
Well,
did.
Spanberger was a trap.
I'm a moderate. Here, have every tax we can think of.
I'm
And
a
let's take away
moderate.
the guns.
Wink, wink.
And we're going to redistrict, but it's not going to work. I mean, literally everything she ran on not doing because she's a moderate, she has done. And I mean, Chad knows better than us because he's there. But we've all seen it.
So Spanberger she's already trying to triangulate because she vetoed. They had passed the legislature had passed a collective bargaining. Virginia is a right to work state, which means no mandatory union stuff. But they passed a public employee collective bargaining, and she vetoed it. And they were up in their bed. And here's the interesting thing. The Northern Virginia counties that are run by Democrats, the actual county level people were telling her, don't you don't you sign this because it's going to destroy our budgets.
Yeah.
The thing is, they already pay these people very well. We're talking where a teacher, the introductory salary for a teacher in these counties is like $80,000 to $90,000 a year. Not like, I'm talking like straight out of college, just got your license. And so they're already paying them exorbitant. And if they had this collective bargaining, it would just blow the hole in the budget. So she vetoed it. But the state legislature people who get that sweet, sweet union money flowing through, and they were thinking they were about to get a lot more of it, are very upset with Spanberger. She actually vetoed like 13 bills last week. Not any of the gun ones, but she vetoed a lot of that other stuff like that. But what the interesting thing is, yes, Bill, I live here, so people are mad here. Virginia is Virginia, they have very much activated the the rural voting group, and to this point that Eric was saying, which Virginia's election is why I'm expecting a blue wave Dems vote no matter what. No, the Dems were Virginia's off-year elections are a very interesting case study. Like to a person going back forever, whatever the party out of power is wins the governor. It's the weirdest thing. Like
Also, proximity to
Yeah.
DC taints things a little bit.
Well, it's whoever doesn't win. Like I mean,
We swing
Bob
back,
McDonald.
You guys swing back and forth between who's in
Yeah.
power, who's not.
Yeah, like Obama wins, McDonald wins his election. Trump wins, then they get a Democrat. Then Biden wins, then we got Youngkin. Then Trump wins again, and now we got Sponberger. Like it goes back even like further than that. Like it's because we get Virginia's a very historically like we swing again like because it's an off year. Since it's off year elections, the turnout is lower and it swings it. And Sponberger did present herself as middle of the road because she didn't have to campaign because they also selected one of the worst candidates they could have, which was Winston Sears. She's terrible. They should have actually just done Mears. He was the one who was running for attorney. He was the current attorney general and was a lot more proactive.
But they thought a black woman could win it. Just
And that was
because she's
Winsome,
a black woman. Who
yeah,
was
Winsome
conservative.
Sears she was a terrible campaigner. She didn't make the good points. I'm not going to relitigate that election.
Yeah,
but
we did shows during that election.
we did shows talking about it, and I
And
told
we
you
said it
I
was
told
not
you
going to
early
be
on
pretty.
that Winsome Sears. Remember very early, I was like, she's losing by 10 to 15 points. Like it's gonna, and if not a little more, but doesn't have a chance. And the only thing that made me start maybe hesitating a little was the stuff for the AG. I remember when we did our shows when that broke, I said I still think Winsome Sears is toast, but I think the AG it could swing the
You
attorney
could have a
general
split
race.
ticket.
And that one almost swung. He won by a couple thousand votes. The problem was early voting had been going on since the beginning of September, and that story didn't break until the middle of October. They waited too long for that October surprise. When there's early voting, you can't wait. I mean, the old philosophy was you wait and you drop it like in October so that it's still fresh for election day.
With early voting,
you've got to get those.
You've got to get it out like
early.
3 months before.
Which is why I think that's why the Susan Collins campaign is already dropping so much stuff about Plattner. I think they still have more, but they're just going to build. What they are doing now is they are leaking these stories to start building because what you're doing is you're defining defining your opposition. They are defining Plattner as a lying asshole who's a piece of shit, and they're going to keep drip feeding stories over the next month of him being a lying piece of shit asshole. And to the point where eventually, when they start the general election campaign for real in August and going into early voting, I'm imagining a New England state probably has early voting going into September. People voting are going to be, will have defined Graham Plattner as a lying asshole, and Susan Collins, Red Queen of the North, gets her re-election bid again.
Yeah, I have no worries about that seat.
No, but that's what you have to do now. You can't as soon as you lock up.
And that's why Tallarico got
go,
nailed the second he won the primary. Everything came out about him. I mean, because remember, Jasmine Crockett was supposed to win that.
Yeah, and here's the thing: the Republicans didn't want to drop it until it was established who they'd be campaigning.
But remember also how Jasmine Crockett decided to run in that election. We planted a fake report and fake polls saying that Crockett would be an outright. The Republicans literally planted fake polls that said Crockett would win. Mm-hmm. And she bit hook, line, and sinker. And it did not work out for her. I am sad that we do not have the amount of clips we used to have from Jasmine Crockett. All right, I think we are pretty good on the main show. We're at 2 hours and 45 minutes. Comics. Holiday weekend. You staying up? We already lost him.
Did he? It's like, we've already lost him.
I don't know. What do you got coming up?
Are we trying to still get comics, or are you talking to me?
No, you, since you're here.
Since I'm here, just start the Ascendant Art podcast. Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern. I think, what do we got? Is there anything good coming out this week?
Isn't He-Man next week? Or is that
no,
2
that's
weeks?
the week after, I think. I think this week is, I want to say it was something stupid. Because, I think they were clearing the space because expecting Mandalorian and Grogu to be something major, which nope, it was not. Oh, the Breadwinner. It's the Breadwinner with Nate Bargatze.
Yeah.
Which looks like another, like, oh, look at him, he's an irresponsible dad.
I did watch the one that Mad watched that we've got on, our availability. The Good Luck, Don't Die, or whatever. I can't remember.
Interesting movie.
It was. I don't think I would ever watch it again, but it was an interesting movie to watch for one time. Kind of like
AI, time travel, etc.
AI and time travel. So it's Sam Rockwell in a very Sam Rockwell type performance, except he actually does not do a song and dance number in it, because he normally dances in everything he's in. Like Iron Man 3, or was it 2? No, he was in 2, wasn't he? Yeah. Iron Man 2, he does the dance thing. Hitchhiker's Guide, I think he dances at some point. He dances in everything.
Did he dance in Galaxy Quest?
I don't remember, but he's kind of known for it. But so it's Sam Rockwell. It's the chick who was in Deadpool 2 that played Domino.
Zazie Beetz.
Yep, it's Michael Pena in a role that's not a normal Michael Pena role. He's the guy from Ant-Man that does my cousin. Yeah. So
he's actually been in a few things where it's like, oh wow, it's Michael Pena. He was like in this one movie where he plays like an android, and it was a pretty serious role. He was good in that.
This one was a more semi-serious role. I mean, it's not him talking fast doing comedy stuff.
Here's I'll play it off that. Zazie Beetz as Domino. Didn't hate the casting. Actually, thought it was pretty good.
Either.
Because
I thought she was fine.
Yeah, people are like, it's Domino's a mutant. And she's like white skin with a. I don't care. Like Zazie Beetz had the charisma, which was important.
Yes, that was very important. To
like when she's like, my power, what's your mutant power? Luck. It's like, that's not a power. And like, yeah, it is.
And then they showed it throughout the movie because they actually paid off.
Yeah.
But so Sam Rockwell is a time traveler. AI takes over the future. So he time travels. He's got a button that he basically holds and acts like it's a bomb the whole time to get a whole bunch of people at a diner to go along with him to try to get this 9-year-old kid, not to get the kid, but to put in a safety protocol into the AI, because the kid is designing an AI that becomes the master AI type situation, Skynet. So they go through all of these events. He knows who everybody is. He tells them different things from the future to prove that he's from the future, but you never really know if he's from the future. He's also dressed like a homeless guy the whole time. Like it's a weird movie, but it was pretty good. And then they end up using a whole bunch of what appears to be AI, just to hammer the point. Mm-hmm. Like there's a cat that's a centaur at the end. And it's obviously CG that obviously could have been somebody's stupid prompt on AI making it. But yeah, I like the movie. So Mad liked it. Sounds like Chad, you enjoyed it.
Yep.
I don't think there's any rewatchability in it. But it's a good one-off.
Yeah, I don't know about rewatchability, but
Some movies are just very boring on the second watch if you know what happens in the movie. And this one is one of those for me where it was just, to be honest, Project Hail Mary has no rewatchability for me. Great performances, great story, but I already know what happens. And it's not like when you depend too much on kind of the twist in the story, or not even a twist, but you know, we're going to reveal something late in the movie. It doesn't work for me on rewatches. I can rewatch Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade over and over and over because it's just fun throughout. But having the flashbacks in Project Hail Mary, I could go without ever seeing them again.
I've all right. So having seen Project Hail Mary several times now, I do find it to have rewatchability. But
I watched it twice, and in the second time, I was extremely bored, except for watching the reaction from my wife and my daughter, because I saw it by myself first. But these are probably things better for the after show. Comics, I think you disappeared for a minute there. I was going to let you do your outro, and we're also at 3 hours, but it's a holiday weekend. So
Yeah, it's a holiday
sure
weekend.
If you're planning on hanging out, so.
I mean, honestly, it's a holiday weekend.
But it's still
midnight.
Midnight.
Yeah, it's still midnight. But yeah, I ran to the bathroom when you, I guess, were trying to summon me.
No problem. So what do you got coming up this week?
A lot, actually. Not related to YouTube, but a lot in my personal life.
Well, yes. You won't be here next week.
Yes, I will not be here. I will not be here next week. Hopefully, I should be fine for the following. So we shall see. But yeah, of course, streaming on Monday. And I got to find a topic.
Have you watched Dutton Ranch yet?
No, I have not.
So Marshall's was a horrible spinoff from Yellowstone. Dutton Ranch has been a fantastic spinoff so far. It's 3 episodes in, and it's not the same as Taylor Sheridan run shows, because obviously he's not doing them anymore, even though he's an executive producer and he created all the characters. But this one follows Beth and Rip to Texas. And it's been pretty good, although it's also very predictable, a lot like a lot of Sheridan shows. Well, at least we predicted most of the stuff that happens in them. Also, you're going to have to cover the news about Tom Hardy being out of Mobland.
Yeah,
that's
dude,
your main story for tomorrow.
Yeah, that's kind of fucking crazy, but
it's insane.
A lot of what we've been doing on Monday is talking about kind of like weird shit that's true, as well as entertainment. So
I told you, go look up the story about the Buffalo versus the Bulls.
Yeah.
Bulls that are trained for bullfighting cannot damage a buffalo in any way. Like a buffalo takes down like 20 of them in one go. And it literally just stands there and waits for them to charge and then turns its head and they drop dead. It's crazy. And it's an actual story from history.
It's
American history.
Yeah. Good deal. Well, folks, have a great Memorial Day, and yeah, I'll see you Monday night.
All right. Night, comics.
There's Chad.
Later.
Before we run the credits and take a short break where I go run and have a cigarette, Darren, with another 5 gifted Brahmabull memberships. Let us do the best one.
All hail the bullpen.
Or the breast one. Thank you,
Yeah.
Darren. And thank you for modding. I don't know. So we may save some of this for the after show, but what do you say for Memorial Day? Because it's a solemn day. And I feel like a lot of people say Happy Memorial Day, but it's also, that feels weird to me. And no, I'm not calling you out, Davina. I was just thinking about it because comics also said something similar. Have a great
So,
Memorial Day. It's like,
yeah,
it's supposed to be a
I
somber day, remembering those who, passed in service.
so I do. This is one where I go nondescript and be like, enjoy your holiday weekend, because I don't want to tie my wish for your enjoyment to the idea that we're having the day off because of dead soldiers.
Right.
So, which is different. Here's the interesting thing. This is where it's funny, because you'll also see people, when they find out someone was in the military on Memorial Day, say thank you for your service. It's like, this isn't Veterans Day.
Right.
This is Memorial Day. This is honoring people.
Well, a lot of people say thank you for your service to military members anytime they meet a military
but they'll
member.
do it.
And,
They'll do it more on a holiday. And,
right, especially Veterans Day. But yeah.
But they'll also do it on Memorial Day, because there's yeah, Slender going with the Saving Private Ryan. You say earn this,
right?
Which is a good one. I don't know. I think I honestly,
So
I don't.
Tiglath says, "Don't say Happy Memorial Day. He lost friends, but he will say, have a good Memorial Day."
Yeah, I would. I mean, I don't think I wouldn't necessarily. It's not something where I think a soldier, a veteran or a soldier or somebody would be like, would correct you, or like get offended to the point of like dressing you down
Sure.
for saying it. There's difference. Like, there is things where you'll get dressed down, where that kind of stuff. Now, in the Northern Virginia area, I think it's maybe different than a lot of other zones in the country, because one of the things people do here is it's at least one, the same way people will at least try going to see the fireworks at DC at least once in their life. Normally, some point in your life for Memorial Day, you go to Arlington and you put wreaths, and you do all,
if you're up in the
like,
area.
So we're so tied into the military community around here that we're a little more tied into the memorial aspect of it. I think in other places where they're more disconnected, like honestly, New York City, Los Angeles, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, they are not sending a disproportionately large number of people into the military service. They'll feel very insulated from it, and so for them, Memorial Day is just a long weekend with a cookout.
Well, it's the start of summer.
Yeah.
For a lot of areas of the country, this is when your local pool opens up, the public pool. I mean, this is the start of summer for a ton of people. But I don't think people ever. I don't think there's a lot of people who remember what Memorial Day is for if they don't have any ties. Which is why we opened the show with, let's remember why we get a day off tomorrow.
Honestly, if you look at the generally accepted 11 federal holidays that most people will get off of work, most of them, most people are not observing whatever the holiday is for. We can take them in order. Martin Luther King Day. For most people, like there's been a newer trend lately to try to make it a day of service kind of thing, but it's, for the most part, it's just a holiday that people take off.
Right.
Well, I'll start. New Year's Day is the very first one, then Martin Luther King Day. Then in February, we get President's Day. We used to get Lincoln's birthday and Washington's birthday, and then they combined it into President's Day.
Right. But it's Washington's birthday, if I remember right.
But for most people, it's a mattress sale weekend, right? They're not doing anything like, let's honor, Martin Van Buren or President, Garfield. They don't care. They're not doing anything for President's Day. Then
Right.
we jump ahead, and after President's Day, the next one that we get was
Easter.
Easter's not an observed federal holiday.
No?
The next one is actually Memorial Day. I don't believe you actually have any holidays in April. It's Memorial Day is the next one. Because you
Yeah, Easter's the only one that could be in April.
Nope. So it goes Memorial Day. July 4th, on the other hand, is one of the main holidays where you actually do celebrate based on the theme.
Right.
You do fireworks for Independence. You do all that kind of stuff. Then the next one up is is Juneteenth. No, actually, I should say Juneteenth comes first. That's the newer one. Most people aren't doing
Before
anything
July
for
4th.
Juneteenth. Yeah. So
Well, it's a fake made up holiday.
it's not made up. It actually, this is where I'll counter you. It was an official thing in Texas, especially because that was
In Texas or Oklahoma? Because I thought it happened in Tulsa.
Are you thinking of the massacre in Tulsa?
Yeah, isn't that what
No,
brought about Juneteenth?
No. Juneteenth was the day that the Emancipation Proclamation was published.
That's right.
In the last state, which was Texas. So it was a thing in Texas, and it had been a celebration thing in Texas for 100 years. So this isn't a Kwanzaa scenario
Right.
where they just kind of made it up. Now, is it a national level holiday? Whatever. People, here's the thing. People aren't going to argue with getting another federal holiday, so they'll just take it. But people aren't doing Juneteenth activities.
It feels like a DEI holiday.
Yeah. Well, they're not doing Juneteenth. So that's what I'm saying. You're not going out and let's go to a Juneteenth party. So we did July 4th. The next one after that is Labor Day, which is a communist originating holiday to celebrate the labor movement in the United States. But nobody cares about it as a labor movement. It's just the end of summer holiday.
It's the end of summer, after Memorial Day being the beginning of summer.
And then you're getting to the next one up is the most useless holiday, at least in terms of people observing it, which is Columbus Day / Indigenous People Day, depending.
No, we're not doing that crap
on how you
channel.
name it. It's Columbus Day.
It's Columbus Day.
But nobody's going out there. Honestly, nobody's doing Christopher Columbus parties unless you're part of the Knights of Columbus, and they've kind of all died out. Unless you're like Tony Soprano doing his, F you, Christopher Columbus is a hero in this house. Then in November, you get Veterans Day on November 11th. It's one of the only holidays tied to a day instead of just a moving target. You get Thanksgiving. And now Thanksgiving obviously is another one where you genuinely celebrate based on what you're supposed to do. We've done that. And then the next one is Christmas, where you're getting the day off for the Christmas holiday. And that's the 11th
one that people also do is Halloween and Easter. Where people actually celebrate, one way or another. Easter, even though they've been bastardized a little bit, people at least know a little bit about what the reason for the holiday is.
Yeah,
and celebrate in a way across the country that is, similar. It's not just have a barbecue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because Easter, yes, the Easter Bunny is not what we're actually celebrating, but people celebrate in the same way across the country. Halloween also, costume parties, trick or treat, everybody celebrates kind of the same way. Not necessarily the reason for the celebration, but we all celebrate the same way. And then we need to add Super Bowl and
the Super
Election
Bowl
Day.
What they should do with the Super Bowl is they should increase the season to 18 games, make it 2 bye weeks during the regular season, and then push the Super Bowl to be the President's Day weekend. So that way the Monday after the Super Bowl is a holiday.
I'm more interested in Election Day being a holiday.
You don't know. I think people need to actually fucking do something to sacrifice to vote.
They don't have to. By federal law, you're allowed to take off time from work either way to go vote. People just don't know that. Or people don't do it.
Honestly, it's not hard to vote. You can make time. I mean, I guess there's places where they're like, there's a line for an hour long. That means your polling place is poorly run and you should work on a local level to fix that. I have never had to wait more than 20 minutes to vote. And I'm talking places that had a lot of population with a lot of people streaming through. If you've got a good system where you're filling, I mean, it doesn't take a lot to fill in those bubbles with your black pen. And I don't know if you're still like dimpling Chads on like that butterfly ballot that Florida was using in 2000.
We're still using black markers. We're not punching, we're using black markers. And you must fill in the circle completely.
I mean, it's not hard.
Darren, part of it with the chat is because I do have it on subscriber only. So if somebody actually wants to chat, they've got to be a subscriber. And a lot of the people that would be being jerks about it probably aren't taking the time to subscribe.
It's funny.
It's just a friendly. It's not me trying to avoid, anything with who can chat. It's literally kind of just a reminder to people who do want to chat in here that, hey, hit the sub.
There's another person who's been using subscriber only for their chat, and it hasn't been very helpful lately.
Yes. I'm not gonna jump aboard the hate bandwagon on that one. I think it's just people make mistakes. I have a history with her, and it's not a bad history, so.
Yep.
All right, let us roll the credits, and then we will go to the after show. Yep. You know how to come back from the after show in case I'm not back?
Does it
just change scenes?
Just change scenes? Yeah.
Go back to dynamic.
There we go. Okay.
All right. Here's some credits for you. Thank you to all of our members. We will get this updated, and we will be back for the after show. It's, it's a holiday weekend, so Chad had kind of intimated on Friday that this was going to be a long one.
Why not?